I'm back. Sorta. I felt horrible yesterday. We went to the homecoming game tonight to see my niece in the homecoming. I don't know what you call that. It wasn't a pageant. It was at the field or the ceremony, I guess, or the crowning. Shut up, Ron Macbeth. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, my niece was in the homecoming thing. She kind of knew she wasn't going to win because, in her words, she's kind of a bitch to people. She doesn't get along with everybody, but the family was there, and she's pretty. If it was just based off looks, she probably would have won. I don't know if there's a picture of her available or not. I'll show you. Hold on. What'd you guys do without me, by the way? It is Friday the 13th, that's right. Almost got in a fight with a cop. That was a thing. Mariah panicked. That's also her thing she usually does. I say cop with air quotes, okay? Cop. I don't know what the fuck that guy was. But I was already in a bad mood. No, I think maybe he works at the jail or the courthouse or something. Like, he wasn't like you would expect a cop to look, okay? He was short, he was fat, he was a fucking smart ass. Pissed me off, dude. Pissed me off. I was just trying to leave. People start fucking with me. Roll the intro.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when
I'll tell you the cop story if you want to hear it. Let me know if you want to hear it.
Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. How's it going? I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. We're back. Yesterday, I worked really hard all day. Didn't drink enough water. I got a really bad headache, like headed to the office, and it just kept getting progressively worse. So I just went home. I do these cycles where I don't sleep for like I only sleep like a couple hours for like 2, 3, 4 days in a row. And then I think it finally catches up. I ended up with a pretty bad headache, and I'm not really tired, but I know that sleeping will fix it. So that's what I end up doing. I don't feel tired. It's just if I sit still too long or sometimes when I'm driving, I just fucking nod out, dude. It's insane. But I don't feel like sleepy. Like when you wake up in the morning and you gotta go to work and shit, I don't feel like that. I took some ibuprofen while I was at it. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. We're here. So, first of all, homecoming. My niece didn't get in the court, but she is really pretty. Here are some pictures of our homecoming stuff. So, me and Mariah went. The kids are at their grandparents', but that's her on the left. And here she is on stage from earlier today, I think. For like the homecoming, like school assembly or whatever. There she is. Noelle, this is my niece, and this is her senior year, so she was in homecoming. So Mariah talks me into going to homecoming, which I wanted to go just to like support my family. I just I don't do crowds really well, so it was really, really busy. The bleachers were kind of packed. I didn't want to sit in the bleachers, so I kind of stood at the fence, watched part of the football game. And then, like, after homecoming, I told Mariah, I was like, well, we won't get stuck in traffic because we'll leave, like, after the homecoming part, like, after halftime. Well, of course, that's what everybody was doing, right? Everybody wanted to leave after halftime. So Mariah has my nephew's baby pushing around in a stroller. And she comes up to me and she's like, well, we're leaving, I guess. And I was like, yeah, you got to take the baby back or whatever. And she's like, you want to make your way out? And I was like, I don't know. Like, it was super, like elbow to elbow, like bumping into each other and kids running around being kids. Like, I know it's not their fault. They're just being kids doing stupid stuff. But same way I did when I was their age. And honestly, it's not the cops' fault. I was just already in this mood where anything could have set me off. So, she goes to try to take the baby to them, and they're on their way out too. She talked to them, they're on their way out too. So she just keeps the baby in the stroller and comes back to me. Well, we wait for like a second, and I start walking out, and there's like fucking people touching me all around, people yelling, and I hate when you're walking in somewhere that crowded and people just stop right the fuck in front of you and like start talking to somebody they're passing. like move over to the side or something. You know what I mean? Like everybody's walking at a very slow pace, elbow to elbow, and then the person right in front of you just stops to talk to the person beside them. Like, that shit pisses me off. So finally I catch like a little break, and I'm like, sorry, Mariah found her way out. So I like jump through that little area, and it opens up for a second, then it comes to a dead stop, then it opens up for a second, then it comes to a dead stop. But I catch a few breaks on the way out. So I go all the way to like the exit area where it's way, way, way less crowded. There's probably like 20 people standing here. And I'm standing on I'll do this. We'll learn something today. So I'm standing on an area where like, let me open up Paint and I'll show you. Come over here, Paint. Cooperate with me. I need you over here, Paint. Okay. So here's what's up. So like, let's double the size of this. Okay. So like, here is the back half of the football field. I know you're just going to be barely able to see that, but there's like the back half. I'll even do this and give it a little border. There's like the fence, the back half of the football field. That's the field. Now there's a road that goes all the way around the field. That is like this. It comes down through here, and obviously goes around the corner of the field. And we'll draw this other side of the road right here. It goes around the field. Now there's a walkway. It is not a road that goes to the main gate like this. And then there's like this, there's like a hill here, and then there's like some parking here, right? So if I can do this and show parking. There's like parking spaces right here, okay, and cars parked there. We'll put one more. Now, I walked out and I got to this point right here. Boom. Okay? That's me. That's me standing there. I'm right here. This is grass. This is all grass. This is all grass. This is a road, but it's just like, it's not really like a road. It's like a track, right? Because it's around a football field. It's not like a public road or anything. It's like one car wide. So I'm standing right there on the X. Let's make the X red. So I'm standing like right here on the red X, okay? And I'm looking this way, waiting for my family. Now, my nephew's there with me and like a couple of his buddies or whatever, that we were all meeting in this area. That's where I was going to wait on Mariah. Tell Noel bye and all that stuff. So we're all kind of congregating around this area. There are some people like over here around the fence, right, leaning up against the fence. I think this is where like my nephew's girlfriend is and her family or whatever. There's like some people there. Okay. So there's a woman backing out. We'll do this in blue. There's a woman that's trying to back out and turn on this road. Okay, she's in reverse. Now what she needs to do is back out and turn on this road, and once she gets all the way back here, then she can go back forward on this road. Right? Does that make sense? She's in this first parking spot right here, and she needs to back out on that road and turn on this road. Now the cop's way, way over here. Here's the cop. And he sees this woman trying to back out, right? But there's like a ton of people coming through here. Like everybody, this is where the crowded area still was, okay? So there's like a ton of people still coming through there, and she's trying to back out and has to keep stopping for these people. I even said myself, before the cop got there, I said, hey, she's trying to back out, and like a few people moved over here, right? They went this way. So then, like there's probably like 3 people around me, right? So then our cop friend goes over here while she's backing out. Okay, so he goes over there to like kind of direct traffic or whatever. But instead of backing out far enough to make this turn, she only backs out about this far. And the cop's telling her, come on back, come on back, come on back, come on back. She only backs out like that far. So now what she's going to have to do, there was like 2 people standing in front of me right here. And I'm like, hey, move over here in the grass. That lady's like backing out because they had their back to her, right? Like 2 people I knew. I was like, hey, So I was like being proactive for the situation, right? I was like, hey, come on over here to the grass. I even took a step back. Okay, I even took a step back, and the two cops or the two people that's in front of me, I was like, hey, come over here. She's trying to back out. So instead of trying to back out, or instead of backing out all the way, she just backs out part way and tries to go up and over this walkway through the grass. And this is like a pretty steep hill. Like when she gets to the walkway, she's like going down a hill and then right back up a hill. When she gets down the walkway, like her bumper's dragging and shit. Right? Like she's not supposed to be driving here, obviously. What is she doing? She needs to back up and turn around. Like she needs to turn, like she shouldn't be doing this. And I'm already like, this isn't the cop's fault. Okay, I was already like super fucking agitated and all the people touching me and this lady fucking trying to back out and like too many people, too much stuff going on, too many things, right? I'm already like super agitated. And this is about the time Mariah walks up. Because the cop looks at me after I've moved to the grass, I've taken another step back, I'm clearly in an area not designed for vehicles, I moved two other people, and I even told people that were walking in, like, hey, get out of the way. The cop looks directly at me and says, he's on the other side of the car, he says, what, you're just going to stand there? And this cop is about, he's nowhere near 6 foot. He's probably like 5'4", probably 350 pounds. And he looks at me and says, what, you're just going to stand there? And I'm already super agitated. And then Mariah's walking up. And I said, what, you're just going to let her drive through the, we thought she was going to use the fucking road, dude. You're just going to let her drive over this goddamn hill through these fucking people? What are we doing here? So I take like a half a step back, and she does like a little maneuver or whatever. And he's like, come on, man. Oh, I was so pissed. I was so fucking pissed. He's like, come on, man. And I'm like, how about you do your fucking job? Like, you're here obviously for traffic. How about you do your fucking job, get her out of the parking space? So then, like, the car blocks us. Right? Like, we can't, it's an SUV, so we can't see each other. But I'm like going to him. Like, we're going to finish this fucking conversation. So, like, as I'm walking by the car, or as the car clears, I'm walking behind him, he's still standing there, maybe 10 foot past the car. And Mariah's already scrambling to, like, fucking get people. Like, we're going to have to get him out of here. He's freaking out. So I'm, like, already going to him. And I was like, he said to the lady, he's like, hey, lady, turn your lights on. And I was like, hey, lady, how about you stay on the fucking road? And then someone from somewhere shouts, she's an old woman. And then, I don't know, like, I was fully pressed to like me and him are going to have this conversation out. And he just fucking looks like he's looking dead at me. I'm walking straight to him. He looks over at somebody else. They said something. He starts laughing, turns around, and walks away. I don't know what happened. He turns around. He's like, ha, ha, ha. Turns around and just walks the fuck away from me. So that was enough of a break. Like, I figured if he was going to say something, if he had something to say, it was probably going to be a bad night. But he didn't say anything. He did his thing. He had a laugh with some other guy that said something to him. I don't even know. I was in blind rage mode. But then he just turned around and walked away. And then I knew I can always tell when I'm like too far and too upset that I shouldn't be at a place. Because even though he walked away and he was like trying to break contact, I still wanted to fight with him. So like my Mariah comes up. She's like, it's okay. And I'm like, it's not fucking okay. The goddamn rent-a-cop over here, 400-pound motherfucker, out here acting like I fucking did something wrong. Then my sister comes up and she's like, how about a family photo? And I'm like, how about this guy go fuck himself? And he's just like walking away, and I'm just yelling shit at him. So yeah, I probably shouldn't have been there that long. I think we overdid it a little bit. Maybe we stayed a little bit too long. Maybe we went a little too deep into the crowd. But that's how you learn your limits, I guess. But yeah, I still wanted to fight for like a good 5 minutes. The guy could have been on the other side of the football field by the time I was done. So there we go. But yeah, like it's pretty extreme terrain, like that she drove. Hold on, I wonder if I can do this. You used to be able to. Give me just a second. I don't know if this will do this justice. I bet you won't.
Source just resubscribed for 16 months.
Let me see. Oh, thank you for the resubscription. I appreciate it. I'm trying to see if there's like a street view that'll show like the shit this lady drove over. Because there's one from the parking lot, I believe. Oh, that's like the Veterans Memorial. That's not even the same fucking place. What an idiot. That's not even the same fucking place. Anyway, she drove over a pretty substantial hill. I can show you the area. Here it is from an aerial view. So like this little corner is like the corner that I'm standing on. And then over here is like where she was parked. And this is like the hill she went up. Now, this is all level with the football field. This is probably, like from this gate to like level with the football field, is probably 10 feet, I would say, because I'm 6 foot tall. And like down here, I can't even see the fucking fence for the field. Like this goes straight down a hill. And she just like ramped it up over this shit. It was pretty crazy. And the cop just let her fucking do it. And like I was just standing here like out of the way, trying to get other people out of the way. And he's like, oh man, it ran all over me. But again, it probably wasn't his fault. I had a lot of stuff going on that that probably shouldn't have. But that's the way it goes, I guess. Anyways, there you go. That is Homecoming. I don't know if Noelle posted any more pictures from Homecoming stuff or not. She's pretty. Here she is with my sister. There she is. That's Noelle and my oldest sister. I guess Homecoming. I think they had like a mother daughter thing for Homecoming or something like that. So that's my sister and my niece getting ready for Homecoming. We went to Homecoming. She didn't get any of the court or anything, but like she said, she's kind of a bitch to like doesn't get along with a lot of people. So there you go. Also, weird YouTube video I found today. I don't know. This guy's name is Paul Harrell, and it says real firearms information for citizens. Real firearms information for citizens. And I like gun YouTube channels. Like I'm a big gun nut. But I've never really seen this channel that I know. I mean, maybe I watched it and just didn't realize it. But the guy's name is Paul Harrell, and I didn't recognize any of his videos, but YouTube recommended this video to me, which it seems like it's recommending it pretty heavy because it's got 12 million views on it. Like usually he's got 1.6 million, 145,000, 59,000, 52,000, 30,000. So anywhere from like 20 to like 50,000 is as average, right? But then for some reason this video's got 20 or 12 million views on it. And it starts off kind of weird. So here you go.
Get right to the point. As I'm recording this today, it is 20 December 2023. And I'm recording this and giving Brad instructions to publish it upon my death. So if you're watching me, I'm dead.
That's a strong start to a video there.
Hi, everyone. Let me get right to the point. As I'm recording this today, it is 20 December 2023. And I'm recording this and giving Brad instructions to publish it upon my death. So if you're watching me, I'm dead. Now, a few months ago, I sat right here on this log and told you I'd been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I told you we'd caught it early and that we were still going to be here for some time. Well, we did catch it early, but not as early as I had thought. And it has spread faster than I thought it would.
Dude, that's the way my brother-in-law's dad died. He was at work, had no signs of illness, no nothing, right? He's perfectly healthy, the same place he had worked for like 30 years as a safety officer for contractors at this plant. And then one day at work, they're just doing random things, and he kind of fell out, like almost like collapsed, but like passed out, but it was back awake before he even hit the ground, right? And stood up, ended up with a little bump on his chin or his head, I can't remember. And because it happened at work, they made him go to the hospital, right? They called an ambulance and made him do it. And he went out and found out he had pancreatic cancer that day. Later, after they done a bunch of, they checked his white blood cells count to see if he had like an infection or something. Found out he had pancreatic cancer. It already spread to multiple organs, and he lived like another 3 months, and that was it. So he went from like perfectly healthy to going to the hospital one day and never leaving the hospital again.
I told you I'd been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I told you we caught it early and that we were still going to be here for some time. Well, we did catch it early, but not as early as I had thought, and it has spread faster than I thought it would. You may have seen me recently using this crutch, and I told you I broke my hip. Well, I did break my hip, but it wasn't because I was in any kind of accident. It was because the cancer spread to my bones, and the bones just crumbled, my hip fractured, and I fell down. No, I didn't fall down and fracture it. I fractured and then fell down. And my time is drawing very short. So there's some things I have to ask.
I don't know why YouTube's algorithm is pushing this video so hard. It's almost 13 million views.
One, for everyone who is a Patreon supporter, thank you. But don't immediately turn off your Patreon support. We have hopes that a couple of the crew, primarily my brother, are going to continue making content on this channel. So if you haven't heard from us by next month, just then cancel your Patreon support. But we have hope that the channel will continue. Two, people pirate other people's material in this format, and now that I'm dead, I'm not going to be able to do much about it. And I'm sure people will pirate my material. Please don't put money into the pockets of thieves. If you're going to watch anything I'm doing, make sure you watch it on my channel. And three, if you've been around a while, you know that there have been people who have taken it upon themselves to lie about me and denigrate my character. That Caleb guy being the biggest offender of it, but there's been others. And I've had to make some rebuttal videos and so forth. Yeah.
I've never heard about any of this drama either with Caleb.
I'll be around to do that, and I'm sure that people will take this opportunity to denigrate my character. So I would hope by now that you know me well enough to know what you should or shouldn't believe. And don't just believe whatever nonsense people tell you. Okay, now with that, there's a couple other things I want to say as well. And that is, to everyone who has watched, hit the like or dislike icon, commented, shared.
Oh, a lot of big YouTubers shared it. That must be why it's got so many views.
Subscribed, and donated on Patreon. Thank you. All of those things support the channel greatly, and I can't even begin to articulate how beneficial and appreciated those things are.
It's pretty crazy, but I guess that's, like, if I had a big audience, if I just had the audience I have now, and I found out that I may have had a limited time I would probably record a video. Like, have you seen this? You know, I passed away.
I would want to say that my goal in doing all of this was, yes, to have fun, do some things that were fun, but primarily to put out useful information, or if not useful, at least interesting information.
I can't imagine he made a lot of money off of it, because YouTube's really, really hard on gun channels. I would love to have a gun channel. Actually, before the second adpocalypse, where they started demonetizing all the gun channels, basically, and even giving strikes for, like, inserting a magazine into an AR-15, I had talked to a local gun shop that had a bunch of like weird and strange, like, guns that you don't see all the time. And this was years ago, but they had a bunch of, like, collector guns and strange guns, and they just had a big selection of stuff that you don't see all the time. And I talked to them about, I was going to do some work for them, and I talked about them if I could get my FFL, so my license to sell firearms, basically, but I didn't want to sell them. What I wanted to do is to be able to sign out some of their firearms and make YouTube videos on them, right? Because they have the access to the guns. Then I can make YouTube videos on, like, some weird, strange, different stuff you don't see all the time, YouTube videos, do the research and make videos on them. And I think it was going to work out, but there's just no way to monetize a channel like that. YouTube cracks down so hard. You can't do live streams. It's got to be all recorded. And, man, they fucking hate gun channels.
What I really hope is that as you're watching me, you've seen some things that have made you say, oh, I get it, okay. Things that have made you change something you did in such a way that has helped you. I would really hope that seeing the reviews we've done of things have saved you some money and kept you from buying things that probably wouldn't have been a good fit for you. And if those things have happened, then we've met our goal. the final thing I would want to say is my sincere apologies. I had hoped that I would continue in this format for the next 10 or even 15 years. And even once I was diagnosed, I'd hoped that we'd be here 2 or 3 more years, and it's turned out to be only a few more months. And my apologies for that. It really makes me feel like I've let everybody down. So
He made it almost a year, because I think he said he's recording this in December.
there's not much more to say than that. So I guess the final line, I have not really rehearsed this, is I'm really glad to have had this opportunity to do all of the stuff that we've done. I really hope that it's been helpful. I really appreciate you watching, commenting, and participating.
Kind of a buzzkill, though, huh?
I have probably very few regrets in what we've done here. And I think we've been, for the most part, successful. I hope you agree. So
Paul is a legend. Yeah, I've never seen his stuff, and I love watching gun channels. I've never seen it.
try this at home, and thanks for watching.
I am heartbroken to announce that what you heard is true. Paul Harrell has passed away. It was his wish that I maintain his legacy through this channel by continuing to put out high-quality educational content with the flair we all know and love from him. I ask that you give the crew and myself some time to process the death of my brother and find the best way to honor his memory. I thank everyone in advance for your patience and understanding, and we will get channel updates as we move through this together. I would ask everyone to keep any personal politics or religious beliefs.
Yeah, you can make a so you can make like a legacy owner of your account. So like if you pass away, if it goes to them, whatever. You can have it depending on what platform you're on. Like Facebook, like there was someone that was posted on my dad's account, and it was really fucking pissing me off after he passed away. I'm talking like weeks after he passed away. This dumb motherfucker was going on, signing into my dad's Facebook account and liking pictures of like my sisters and shit, like my sisters posted. And they were calling me upset, like who was doing it. Anyways, it really pissed me off. So I put his in memorial. So like it doesn't post, it doesn't do any of that thing, but you get all the posts are saved, and you can still go on there and leave like messages if you want to or whatever. But nobody can access it and use it to fucking, I don't know, look at people, I guess. I don't know.
Of any postings regarding Paul on any of our social media. In keeping with Paul's mystery, I cannot tell you what his beliefs were or where he ended up. All I can tell you is that he is now where a man belongs and will remain an inspiration to us all. Thank you.
Some of you know me, but many of you don't. My name is Brad Nelson, and I've been Paul's editor / post-production guy / manager for
What's weird is I've never seen Paul, but I've seen this guy before somewhere.
many years.
I don't know where.
Ever since his channel was very small. I had the great privilege of having Paul in my life and having him as a friend. He's a very generous and kind guy, and he told the best campfire stories. He's positively influenced many people's lives, including my own, and I'm very grateful for that. We are going to be continuing his legacy by uploading videos on this channel eventually, and continuing to.
That'd be cool if they keep his channel alive, especially if they have. I wonder if he recorded anything but didn't release it, or add little clips of him saying something, or an ad read, or whatever. That'd be cool.
The way that Paul did. But you can continue his legacy as well by sharing your knowledge with other people.
It's kind of sad. Like, I'm sure he would have loved to have, 13 million views on a video while he was still alive. You know what I mean? But that's the way it happens, I guess.
Enthusiasm for firearms and the outdoors, and just by being curious and striving to learn new things like Paul did. Thank you for all the support that you've given Paul and the rest of us over all these years.
I always tell Mariah she'll probably oversleep on the day of her funeral, and I'll probably have to work till lunch. Take off at lunch and go get in the casket. I don't know. It's a weird video that was recommended to me. I figured I'd pass it on to you guys.
This is terrible for Donald Trump's campaign. A big story lately has been that just...
This is Luke Beasley all over on YouTube. He has 800 and some thousand subscribers. Go subscribe to him if you want political content.
Open, y'all know I'm mindful of when I use these terms, out and out public racist and bigot of every kind, we'll just say for short. Laura Loomer, who's a big supporter of Trump's been a supporter of hers. She's been traveling with Trump lately. Some speculate. Debate prep, we saw how that went. Trump was asked about her.
She's been traveling with Trump. A lot of people think she's doing more. She is like the Temu version of Melania.
Speech that he's delivering in Rancho Palos Verdes, California. We'll look at the other parts from the speech in this segment, and then see Fox News having to cut away, because the first clips here came later, and so it's not Fox News. They cut away as he was about to make a devastating mistake for his campaign, which is now not denouncing her, which is going to spiral off and predicting now a bunch of stories about who she is as he shows her support for her. And
she's a fucking psychopath, dude. She is a psychopath. Her and MTG were fighting the other day on Twitter, but she's a fucking lunatic. Laura Loomer.
She said some of the worst things recently, talking about Curry being in the White House and just open racist remarks about Vice President Kamala Harris. So with that being said, here's Trump being asked about her.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Your Republican colleagues or your allies who are concerned about your close relationship with Laura Loomer.
Let me put it this way, if you didn't see this already.
Republicans and allies are concerned about your relationship with Laura Loomer.
Marjorie Taylor Greene denounced Laura Loomer. That's how bad she is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, MTG denounced her and called her a racist. Because she said, so Laura Loomer made a post that says if Kamala Harris wins, the White House is going to smell like curry, right? Because it's her Indian heritage. And then something else about like if you have to complain, you have to call a 1-800 number where you'll be put on hold for 20 minutes and nobody will speak English. Kind of, so like a super racist, like Indian thing. MTG called her out as being racist. Then she's like, no. I'm saying it'll smell like curry because she loves Indian food. And Kamala Harris is so bad at speeches, it would be believable that she would have a call-in line where you have to wait a long time. And she tried to say she wasn't racist about it, but she was. But MTG called her out.
Your Republican colleagues and your allies who are concerned about your close relationship with Laura Loomer.
Well, I don't know what they would say. Laura's been a supporter of mine, just like a lot of people are supporters, and she's been a supporter of mine. She speaks very positively of the campaign. I'm not sure why you asked the question, but Laura's a supporter. I don't control Laura. Laura has to say what she wants. She's a free spirit. Well, I don't know. I mean, look, I can't tell Laura what to do. Laura's a supporter. I have a lot of supporters, so I don't know what exactly you're referring to.
With the fact that she's a fucking psychopath. Now, again, Trump always says that he has the best people around him, only the best, only this, only that. He vets everybody. Then he has to fire everybody. He probably doesn't have much of an idea of what she does. Trump only cares about Trump.
That's okay.
Uncomfortable, but not making clear he disagrees with her conspiracy theories, bigotry, and in a different segment today, I'll give you examples of what I'm talking about.
She's horrible.
This is sort of breaking news, so I don't have them prepared, but we will talk about that later on. You'll remember I debated with her, and it was crazy some time ago. Here's more.
Yeah, please. I just don't know. Laura's a supporter. I don't know. She is a strong person. She's got strong opinions, and I don't know what she said, but that's not up to me. She's a supporter. Please.
We can go look at her. Oh, there was a Laura Loomer right there. I didn't know he was asked about this till I saw that headline. I set up a fake dog food company last month, bought Purina at the pet store, and paid Laura Loomer $100 for this post. I just ate dog food. It's human grade, which means you and your dog can share a tasty, nutrient-dense treat together. Order yours today. Wow. Wow. Laura Loomer. Marjorie Taylor. I think somebody tagged me in it, but Marjorie Taylor Greene back and forth. I never thought anyone could possibly seem more psychotic than Marjorie Taylor Greene, but somehow Laura Loomer pulls it off. Who tagged me in it? We'll go to it. Didn't somebody tag me in it? We'll talk about this video in just a second. Trump's bitch. That would be an accurate description. Save the pets. Some of these shit you say is funny as shit. I want to say somebody said it was a cat fight. Is that right? Or was that in Telegram? It might have been in Telegram. Somebody posted it. Hold on. Midas Touch shared this one. Okay, I see it now. This says, flashback, Trump guides Laura Loomer by her lower back. Uh-oh. 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 Look how he pulls her in.
She's actually...
That smile. That smile. That says Trump 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you. We love you.
Yeah.
Oh, love you.
She's actually...
You think they're just traveling around together? You think that's what's going on?
2024.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you. We love you. Oh, yes.
She's actually...
So Laura Loomer actually says that she has, what's her handle? At Laura Loomer. Okay. She says she has dirt on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Something about her using the N-word or something. It's wild. But here's Laura Loomer. Investigative journalist, founder of Loomered, host of Loomer Unleashed, former Project Veritas operative, America First, feisty Jewess, receipt queen, the receipt queen. But she had a back and forth with, I don't know if Marjorie Taylor Greene blocked her or what. Trump just took stage at a rally in Nevada. Laura Loomer doesn't work for the campaign. She's a private citizen, a longtime supporter. I disagree with the statement she made, but like many millions of people who support me, she is tired of watching the radical left Marxists and fascists violently. Oh, Laura Loomer's the one with Tim Pool who calls for the death penalty. In that video we always play of Tim Pool where he's like, Democrats should be arrested. And she says, not only that, but put to death. That's her. Donald Trump, go to Springfield. Thank you. I support it. That's DC Drano. Investigating John Cat Turd. Most retarded person in the world. Additionally, MTG attacks me the same time Mark Elias was brought on the Represent Brad Raffensperger, and at the same time, Judge Merchant's daughter's company hired Mark Elias. This is reeking of coordination. I have been told MTG made a deal with the Dems to avoid being indicted. That is why she coordinated her attacks on me. Remember, she used her campaign funds to set Trump up at Mar-a-Lago. As I exposed in 2023, MTG is actively working to sabotage Donald Trump, and she is working with Dems to undermine him. MTG's intern is now planting salacious stories about me and President Trump. Why is MTG working with the Dems to sabotage Donald Trump? So they can basically just claim whatever the fuck they want, right? And their sycophants will run with it. Just so you know, nobody works harder for Trump than Laura Loomer. She is relentless and breaks so many stories through her hard work. Oh, she always says she's famous for like, I'm dropping a bomb at 8 p.m. about Harris. Wait till you see it. It's never a bomb, and it's usually not even accurate. I don't work for Donald Trump. There's nothing to distance from. This has been nothing more than a manufactured story based off lies. I'm simply a loyal supporter of President Trump. I've never implied that I work for him or advised him. Pay attention to what the media is doing to me right now. They are trying to say if you independently support Trump, they will lie about you and intimidate you to not support him anymore. I don't care about what they say about me. I care about one thing, Donald Trump winning. She's pretty wild. Doesn't work for the campaign. She's a private citizen. The allegations are not false, and they are documented in FCC records. She always claims she's got all this news to break, but it's never accurate. It's a lot of times it isn't real. If you enjoy Loomer Unleashed, please support the sponsor of the show. Cats are being discovered with their heads off. Oh, sure they are. Rebel News. Amazing song. The Kiffness. Ex-Donald Trump eating the cats. I wanted to see the back and forth MTG. So if you don't know the story behind this hat right here, he basically got a Trump supporter who didn't like him to give him that hat for one of his hats. And he signed it. The guy asked him to sign it. And it was actually a really funny moment for Joe Biden. The guy said, he said, well, you got to give me that hat if you want this. He said, will you sign it? He says, yeah. He said, you got to give me that Trump hat if you want this one. And he gives him the Trump hat. And the old guy says, you want me to sign it? He said, hell no. Which was pretty funny, I thought. He's like, hell no. And then the reporters are like, put it on, put it on. He's like, I'm not going that far. And kind of everybody laughs. And then he puts it on top of the hat that he already had on just for like a photo op and gives a thumbs up. It was actually a really genuine moment, I thought. But I don't know why everybody's trying to make it into some type of big deal. I thought it was a genuine moment between him and a Trump supporter, honestly. That's the Laura Loomer stuff. Oh, my God.
Proof. There's one. Even liberals are saying that Kamala Harris lost that debate. Don't believe me? That's fine.
Sure they are.
Here's the proof.
There's one thing you should pay attention to after the debate. The candidate who feels like he or she lost will ask for another debate.
And who's asking for another debate? Harris campaign wants a second.
So there are reasons. So Donald Trump tried to compare this to a prize fight, right? The one who lost the prize fight man immediately say, "I want a rematch. I want a rematch. I want a rematch." That you can't describe this as a prize fight, okay? Because if it was a prize fight, and let's say the audience that watched the fight got to vote, you might beat the fuck out of them and say, "I want to go again. I want to go again," just because you want more votes. You can't compare it to a prize fight. I think she wants another debate because at first they were like, "I don't know. We'll do this one. We'll see how it goes." Then she beat his fucking ass. And she wants another one to beat his ass again, right? The more times she can beat his ass, the better.
Presidential debate.
I think it's all said in the spin room. When Trump has to go to the spin room to try to clarify that he actually won, he usually doesn't do that. He knew he lost.
Trump. Kamala Harris wants a second debate. Donald Trump is not so sure. Harris campaign calls for second presidential debate, challenging Trump. Team Harris says she wants a second debate after torching.
This is all based off one TikToker saying whoever loses, they're going to want another chance at it.
Harris campaign.
No one thought she'd beat him so fucking bad.
Is Trump the second presidential debate? And look, liberals, I only used your sources there. Rolling Stone, Axios, ABC, CNN, New York Times. And even the girl's video I used is so far liberal. The news girl is not impartial in any way.
Okay.
Super liberal news girl says that whoever lost the debate is the one that's going to be asking for a second one. And then pretty much every liberal news source I could find is talking about how Kamala Harris is demanding.
I think that would be true if it was like a pretty even debate and there was just like a couple small slip-ups that the loser made that made them lose. But when you're beating the fuck out of somebody, go again, dude. Go again. We also have this bullshit from the leading report. It says, breaking ABC whistleblower allegedly will release an affidavit claiming that the Harris campaign was given sample questions that were essentially the same questions that were given during the debate. This is probably the dumbest conspiracy that there is. You know why? Because they were the most fucking obvious questions in the world. People say you've been there 3 years, you haven't made a change. Why don't you? The economy's not doing so great. How will you fix it? Abortion's an issue that's on everybody's minds. What are you going to do about that? Immigration seems to be going on. How do we handle it? This is stupid. So if they gave her sample questions, it would just be the topics that everybody, it was the most obvious question. There were no like gotchas. There were no like, well, if you were a genie and could grant one wish, what would it, there was none of that. It was literally the topics of this fucking election, as it should be. This is the dumbest thing in the world. I have a lot to say. For starters, Laura Loomer is a great and honest person. The hate coming her way is horrific, filled with lies. Second, the videos Loomer and I make consisting of confronting Democrat senators are informative. GOP Senator Tillis criticized Trump over comments calling Gen 6 rioters patriots. Of course he will. Laura Loomer is the crazy conspiracy theorist who regularly utters disgusting garbage intended to divide Republicans. A DNC plant could do a better job than she is doing to hurt President Trump's. Couldn't do a better job than she is doing to hurt President Trump's chances of winning re-election. Enough. Never Trump publication, the Bulwark Online hired a foreign agent as a reporter who is now trying to influence the 2024 presidential election with attacking me and Donald Trump. That's not how it works. 9/11 conspiracy theorists and racists is tagging along with Trump on the campaign trail, but the NRSC has actually been promoting Laura Loomer videos for months. Laura Loomer is my friend and a tenacious journalist. She breaks devastating stories. Thus, she earned the honor of a New York Times hit piece. Oh, you want to hear where she is? New York Times is not going to be friendly. We have to unlock it. Give me a second. Don't be looking at the secret way that I unlock these. Just forget you ever saw this, okay? This isn't, don't do this. Never do this. It's bad. The former president's decision to elevate Laura Loomer, a far-right activist known for racist and homophobic posts online, has stunned even some Trump allies. Before Donald J. Trump traveled to Philadelphia for this week's debate, he invited one of the internet's most polarizing figures along for the ride. Laura Loomer was backstage with Trump entourage while Mr. Trump squared off against Vice President Kamala Harris. She was in the spin room with the former president immediately afterward, and the next day she flew with him to New York City and Shanksville, PA, to commemorate the anniversary of September 11th. A far-right activist known for her endless stream of sexist, homophobic, transphobic, anti-Muslim, and occasionally anti-Semitic social media posts and public stunts, Ms. Loomer has made a name for herself over the past decade by unabashedly claiming 9/11 was an inside job, calling Islam a cancer, accusing Ron DeSantis' wife of exaggerating breast cancer, and claiming that President Biden was behind the attempt to assassinate Mr. Trump in July. Just 2 days before the debate, Ms. Loomer, 31, posted a racist joke about the vice president whose mother was Indian American. Ms. Loomer wrote on X that if Ms. Harris won the election, the White House would constantly smell like curry. For many observers, including some of Mr. Trump's most important rallies, the Republican presidential nominee's choice at a critical moment of the campaign to platform the social media instigator, albeit one with nearly 1.3 million followers on X, was stunning. The history of this person is just really toxic, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, a Trump ally, told a reporter for the HuffPost on Thursday. I don't think it's helpful at all. His comments were echoed by MTG, a Republican from Georgia and a devoted supporter of Mr. Trump. I don't think she has the experience or the right mentality to advise a very important presidential election, Ms. Green told reporters Thursday morning. Ms. Loomer declined to comment, saying in a text message that she was not interested in speaking to the media so they can further their conspiracies about me. But she took to X, her favorite medium, to attack both Ms. Green and Mr. Graham, calling them disloyal to Trump while making a string of accusations about their personal lives. The critiques have not diminished the candidate's enthusiasm for her. On Thursday afternoon, Mr. Trump shared on Truth Social a post of hers attempting to debunk a story by Axios that said Ms. Harris was outperforming Mr. Trump on social media. Asked to comment about her association with the former president, the Trump campaign responded with a statement it had released on Wednesday about the September 11th terror attacks that did not address questions about her ties to Mr. Trump. The day wasn't about anyone other than the souls who are no longer with us, their families, and the heroes who courageously stepped up to save their fellow Americans on that fateful day, the campaign statement read. This was far from Mr. Trump's first association with her. Mrs. Loomer lives in Florida and frequently attends events at Mar-a-Lago. The former president has amplified many of her social media posts on his own accounts. In January, she flew with him to Iowa during the build-up to the state caucuses. In April, the New York Times reported that Mr. Trump was considering hiring her for his campaign. Oh, God. A plan he abandoned only after some of his supporters pushed back. But with 7 weeks left of the presidential race, a time when conventional wisdom dictates that candidates broaden their message to appeal to moderate, undecided voters, Mr. Trump's embrace of Miss Loomer is a clear signal that he's instead doubling down on propping up some of the most caustic elements of the far right. Another signal came on Tuesday when the Trump campaign assembled a social media war room in Philadelphia to respond in real time to the debate. Roughly 18 conservative influencers gathered in the conference room in the Warwick Rittenhouse Square at the same hotel where Miss Harris was staying and pounded out riposte to Mrs. Harris' every utterance during the debate while vigorously defending Mr. Trump. The group included Shia Rachik, who is behind the conservative social media account known as I know her, Libs of TikTok. She's actually Jewish, and who is known for her transphobic content and smear campaigns against schools, hospitals, and libraries. Also included Jack Posobiec, a right-wing podcaster who helped spread the Pizzagate conspiracy theory that the Democratic politician secretly ran a child sex trafficking ring out of a Washington pizzeria. He also runs that End Wokeness account. Remember, he's the bot that runs it. Also, there was Rogan O'Handley, who is best known as DC Drano, an election denialist and vaccine skeptic. In advance of the event, Mr. Trump sent... Why does he get such wild fucking people to do this? Why? I mean, there's normal fucking Republicans that could have done this. In advance of the event, Mr. Trump sent each person a signed letter thanking him or her for being social media warrior in the fight to save our country, adding that he looked forward to making viral contact with you at the White House in just a few months. The group, according to Alec Bruzowitz, a political consultant who was hired by the campaign last month, collectively had more than 50 million social media influencers, several of them, including Mr. Posobiec, and Mr. O'Hanley have also been deployed by the Republican National Committee to help host election integrity webinars in recent weeks. Shortly before the debate began, Mr. Bruesewitz fielded a video call from Mr. Trump, who delivered a pep talk. You guys are more important than I am, actually, because you'll get the word out the way you want to get it out, Mr. Trump was recorded saying in the video of the call, later posted on social media. It's hard to measure the impact such voices might have on Mr. Trump. And little, if anything, is known about what conversations he has had with his campaign about with Miss Loomer or other influencers. But few, if any, candidates have had a close relationship with their online base of support, one that doesn't always focus on the same issues as the broader electorate. In the days leading up to the debate, Miss Loomer and most of the people making up Mr. Trump's social media war room were posting allegations that Haitian migrants had been killing and eating pets in Springfield, Ohio. That's where he got the idea from. Most shared images generated with AI of dogs and cats and ducks being protected by Mr. Trump, along with the other content underscoring the unfounded claim that the pets were being eaten. On Monday, for example, Mr. O'Hanley uploaded an image of Mr. Trump astride a giant cat as he had an AR-15 style rifle. Miss Loomer, for her part, posted advertisements for dog collars inscribed with the phrase, "Not your lunch," #MAGA on them, that were available for $23.28 plus shipping. Another version bore the phrase, "Don't eat me" in Haitian Creole. The last two posts by Mr. Trump on Truth Social before the debate, were AI images of cats and ducks. One depicted cats in military fatigues, carrying assault rifles and wearing MAGA hats. The other showed the candidate himself sitting on a plane amid a crowd of ducks and cats. Then, roughly 26 minutes into the debate, Mr. Trump responded to a question about immigration by claiming that migrants were eating the pets of the people that live in Springfield. For many of the 67 million people watching the debate who aren't as terminally online as the former president and his social media supporters, the comment may have been confusing, but for some who hope to see him defeated at the polls in November, the entire episode provoked a measure of glee. On Thursday, Claire McGill, the former Democratic senator from Missouri, took to social media to sarcastically encourage Mr. Trump to spend more time with Miss Loomer, calling her a perfect advisor. I hope he keeps her very close to him between now and the election, she wrote. They belong together. Yeah, not very flattering. She is a fucking lunatic, though, so. Like I said before, I don't work for any but the American people. Another reason why the media is viciously attacking me today and trying to get everyone to disavow me is because Loomer Unleashed is the only news publication on Capitol Hill asking Democratic senators. Damn, I couldn't speak. Let's see. What are you asking them?
Why did you vote to allow men to play women's sports? Senator Brown, why did you vote to allow men to play women's sports?
Seems like they're getting those tough questions answered, doesn't it? Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown is trying to do damage control. The major investment builds on Toledo's long history of making the best glass in the world, and it shows the union workers in Ohio remain at the forefront of global manufacturing. Kamala Harris just said Donald Trump will weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. The people weaponizing the DOJ are Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They ordered the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago and fabricated evidence during the raid. Both of these are lies. They did not order the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago, and there was no evidence fabricated. The most damning evidence is his security cam footage. Yeah, as long as they keep infighting. Democratic senators confronted support men and women's sports. It's my pleasure. Always been happy the voice of the voiceless who have been screwed over by self-serving politicians. She's a lunatic. Like, some of her crazy shit is super fucking crazy. Post-debate poll. I wanted to see the back and forth between him and MTG. One of them says, I hope anyone successful in removing MTG from office, Republican or Democrat, DM me for free oppo on MTG. I'll give it to any of the opponents for free. And that's in response to someone saying, don't worry about her. Georgia is voting Sean for Georgia anyways. That was part of the back and forth, but there was more than that. There was like a... Let me keep scrolling. Maybe it's up higher. Oh, here's some of it. So it says, Marjorie Taylor Greene says, this is appalling and extremely racist. It does not represent who we are as Republicans or MAGA. This does not represent President Trump. This type of behavior should not be tolerated ever. Laura Loomer should take this down. It says, if Kamala Harris wins, the White House will smell like curry, and White House speeches will be facilitated via a call center, and the American people will only be able to convey their feedback through a customer satisfaction survey at the end of the call that nobody will understand. Ooh, that was rough. That nobody will understand. So clearly, Indian racist, obviously. Once again, MTG, who is extremely jealous and vindictive over the fact that she wasn't successful in turning Donald Trump against me, is now behaving like a leftist and accusing me of being racist. Kamala Harris is on video calling herself Indian and saying she cooks with curry. That's not what you meant. She also refuses to speak to the media, so there's a strong likelihood that she would set up a call center to avoid speaking to the press and being honest with the American people. Do you think that's what she actually meant? When she said, the only way that she'll do her speech is through a call center, you have to stay on there and nobody will understand the poll at the end or whatever. You think she meant, it's because she won't talk to the media. Hey, MTG, speaking of racism, one of your former staffers told me you have a favorite word that starts with N. What if the staffer has a video? Guess you gave up on Trump when he gave up on your boyfriend, Speaker McCarthy. Don't talk about representing Donald Trump when you paid for the Yay 2024 domain and used your campaign funds to orchestrate the dinner between Nick Fuentes and Kanye West. I exposed you months ago, and I'll do again, you trailer trash harpy. This is in response to Marjorie Taylor Greene saying this is appalling and extremely racist. It does not represent who we are as Republicans or MAGA. What if the staffer has video? It's rather iconic that MTG wants to call me a racist when MTG is a full-blown anti-Semite who believes that Jewish people use space lasers to control the world. Also true. Along with being an anti-Semite, MTG is also a poor excuse for a Christian. Her marriage failed because she couldn't keep her legs closed while she was a new member of Congress and was too busy screwing some guy from her CrossFit. She is not representative of the GOP or what it means to be America first. Nobody talks about her anymore because she's annoying and irrelevant and a sellout. Hey, MTG, how come you weren't at the debate? Guess you gave up on Trump when he gave up on your boyfriend, Speaker McCarthy. Don't talk about representing Donald Trump when you paid for the Yay, and that's the continuation of that post. And then this motherfucker brought her to 9/11 memorial. She's so fucking crazy. She's so crazy. Fani Willis should be arrested for refusing to comply with a subpoena today. Democrats currently say nobody's above the law. What they mean to say is we will keep breaking the law and violating rules as long as it means we get to Trump.
Hey, Fani, how come you haven't complied with the Judiciary Committee's request for your communications with the January 6th committee? Did Joe Biden promise you a position at the DOJ during his second administration? Are you going to be ordering Grey Goose tonight, paying in cash? You say that Donald Trump is violating the law, but you haven't even sent your communications with the J6 committee that was requested by the Judiciary Committee.
Didn't her father come out? I feel like I've heard that rumor before, but I don't know if I've ever seen it. All right, let's go back to this one. She is a fucking full out lunatic.
With you on your plane.
Okay, a lot of people do. It's a very big plane.
She made racist remarks about your opponent. She also espoused conspiracy theories about 9/11. Do you disavow those remarks?
Well, I have to see what the remarks are. You're telling me for the first time we're here discussing the destruction of San Francisco and California by a person that's running for president. So I don't even know what you're talking about. I do know that she may have said something based on what you're telling me, but I don't know what she said. But I'll go take a look and I'll put out a statement later on. But I really don't know.
I bet we're moments away from him having to denounce her. That's how bad she is that even Trump may have to. And the things she's been saying lately, again, I feel uncomfortable even repeating them back. Something feels off about giving a platform to that sort of hatred. But the stuff she said about Harris, the stuff that got her literally banned from using.
Worth noting that Laura Loomer's own father had her committed on a 5150 twice because she's crazy. Look up the true story of this event and the accident. The truck driver did not veer into her lane, and he was not drunk. That is a story that Biden keeps telling about the incident, man. He was not charged. She veered into his lane, probably distracted driving. I don't know what this is about. Okay, so Laura Loomer says, because Joe Biden doesn't like to talk about the fact that his first wife was driving emotionally distressed when she died in a car accident because Joe was cheating on her with Jill Biden at the time of her suspicious car accident that also killed Joe Biden's baby daughter. Very suspicious accident. That's a pretty substantial claim to make about somebody, right? Like, you killed your fucking wife and your kid.
Uber and Lyft and stuff to that effect, and banned off a bunch of social media platforms, just sick and depraved stuff. And he's traveling with her and very, very friendly with her. But I'm sure that's about to come to an end for the sake of the campaign. You have more?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
What value do you feel that Laura Loomer brings to you? And has nobody told you about conspiracy theories that she is promoting?
No, I don't know that much about it. No, I don't. I know she's a big fan of the campaign, but I really don't know. I would say that, well, she brings a spirit to us that a lot of people have. We have very spirited people. And in all fairness to her, she hates seeing what's happened to the country, I guess. I mean, she hates seeing what's happened to the country. So
this is about to be a campaign disaster. Oh, gosh. I can feel. Get ready. Tonight's nightly news is going to be all about who Laura Loomer is and Trump associated with her. We're going to have a segment about that, as I already said. And then I already prepped, so we'll jump into that. Now, the other parts from the speech, they weren't better, and they led to Fox News having to cut away.
I attribute to ICE and Border Patrol. They're incredible people. Not only is Comrade Howard, I mean, if you take a look at this.
Comrade Howard, it sounded like he said. One more time.
I attribute to ICE and Border Patrol. They're incredible people. Not only is Comrade Howard, I mean, if you take a look at this.
He doesn't know how to
Comrade.
Normal people go Comrade. Well, normal people don't call her Comrade Howard or Comrade at all, for starters. But even if you were, you would say Comrade Howard. I mean Harris. But instead, he always has to do that. If you look at because you distracted me. So now,
if you look at all these substantial numbers,
now that we're back on course, Comrade.
He always does that weird fucking thing. Like he can't even admit that he misspoke.
Using that term to denote communism, even though Vice President Harris is not a communist, he's still obsessed with David Muir, who hosted or moderated the ABC debate. And instead of just accepting that he had a disastrous performance, and as Van Jones put it, Harris kept.
Dab, we haven't even met in real life. If you're into anal, me too. I don't know if you want me to bust out that pop or not, but stand by. Stand down, stand by, and stay lubed, Deb.
Baiting him and then spanking him.
I'll be there.
Again, Jones's word, not mine. He can't acknowledge that, so instead, he obsesses over the moderators.
From people that are not smart, from a guy who has good hair but not as good as it was 5 years ago, to be honest.
You know, Donald, I think there's one thing you shouldn't criticize about others, and it's their hair. He also said this.
The president has a duty to keep you safe. Kamala will turn America into a poor, violent, third world refugee camp. It already sort of is.
It already sort of is. How can you keep screaming we're patriots with the way he talks about our fucking country? All to win a vote, right? As soon as he wins and takes office, oh, it's perfect. We got it back super quick. Everything's great now. It's all just to get your vote.
By the way, we're seeing this with the Haitian rhetoric. We're seeing it with broader rhetoric about immigration. It used to be that Republicans and Democrats could agree.
How funny would that be? If Trump is found guilty of election interference, and then they seize all his assets under his own executive order.
That lawful immigration is one of the things
that would be so fucking funny.
That makes our country great. It's part of why we become the country that we are, leading in so many categories. But that we should not be for unlawful immigration, and that's why we should have border security policies, etc. But now the demonization of immigration has expanded. Always they would become super dehumanizing in the rhetoric about unlawful immigration, which is not acceptable even if we are talking about border security. But now that's expanding just to all immigration. And then he uses this hating America rhetoric constantly to make people believe something about the America that exists that isn't true. It's just not true, and it's disgusting.
Almost every study that goes into the economy and immigration, every study that I've ever read, I've talked about the broadly positive influence that immigration has on our economy.
The way that he articulates it. Then there's this.
I love this place. Look at this. I own this. No partners, no mortgage, no nothing. I own it. And I'm talking so badly about the state. It hurts me to do it. I would never do this except for the fact that I'm running for president and I want to save the country. So I'd rather sacrifice this than lie or not speak.
It is a funny aesthetic to say California has been run into the ground by Vice President Kamala Harris, and it's unlivable, quote unquote, third world country, and it's all terrible. And then to deliver these remarks as you're also talking about how beautiful your golf course is in California, how great of a place it is, it doesn't match the two. I get that you can have a beautiful site in a non-beautiful place, which is the point he's trying to make, but the two aesthetics don't really match.
You should go play golf there.
Note on this, then you have him saying.
And her VP choice, I think, will go down as a catastrophic choice. Now, maybe I'll be wrong. I'll let you know on.
Well, that's like a Nazi white supremacist dog whistle. The same thing when Trump says shit like they're tainting the lifeblood of America. That's like straight from fucking Hitler, right? Or when they say that, like, oh, they'll get here and they'll mix in, they'll dumb us down. That's like 100% white supremacist dog whistle.
November 6th.
Hey, what's up, pinup doll?
But I can't believe that guy is an asset. They had other people.
Well, when you look at this, when you look at this right here, it says pinup doll. I didn't misspeak.
Would have been.
You know, there's a lot of projection in this speech.
By the way,
him saying
support the show, you lazy assholes. Coldbeer.fund.
That Vice President Harris gets up and just lies. Obviously, Trump is notoriously one of the most dishonest political figures we've had. Even just objective statements, not to mention the misleading stuff, but just statements you can verifiably prove to be false. He has tens of thousands on record. It's crazy. And he's going to call her a liar. And then in that clip you already watched, saying her vice presidential running mate pick is a disaster, even though his popularity numbers are awesome, especially in our divided political moment. Whereas Tim Walz is good, but then in terms of J.D. Vance's favorability numbers are disastrous. One of those unpopular. I think I saw the most unpopular in terms of that polling in the history of vice presidential running mates. So then he has to project that onto Tim Walz. If you haven't already and want to support us on our...
The judge decided to wait till after the election because he basically knows that there's going to be a claim that his sentencing could potentially influence the election outside of the realms of whether it should or not. So he's waiting until after. When he first put this out, he said he wasn't going to delay. He wasn't going to delay it. Then he delayed it till right before the election. Then the prosecution had no issue with it, whatever he wanted to do, and Trump's team asked them immediately to delay it as much as possible. So that's what he's waiting on.
A race to 1 million subscribers. You can do it by clicking that subscribe button below. Easy, free, simple. It makes all the difference.
Is it already over? How come half the video's there? Oh, okay.
Everything. They lie about statements on the military. Nobody loves the military more than me.
Nobody.
Got up today, she said things were just lies. She's just made up. What's bad for Trump? Oh, this would be, say something bad about the military. Oh, he said bad about the military. Just like McDonald's. A total lie. It's the way they do it.
And
what a world we live in. Imagine a world we live in where there's like a fact checker above somebody's head. Like a green light, red light. If you get a green light, they're telling the truth. A red light, they're lying.
We'll see him in this next clip saying that Vice President Harris never worked at McDonald's, even though she did. I mentioned to you in a different speech this lie came from.
Donald Trump would look like a red strobe light.
And because this keeps coming up, I should go get the specifics to cite for you the particulars of. But she was applying to a job in her capacity as a lawyer or something to that effect. And they got the application or resume.
Yeah, so she says that she worked at McDonald's when she was young, right? And that they claimed that when she put her resume in to be like a law clerk or whatever, that she didn't list McDonald's as a former employer. Well, no shit, dude. Like, I've got jobs that I wouldn't list as one of my former employers. Depending on what I cater each resume and my work history to each job that I'm trying to get. I want to put the most relevant stuff there, the stuff that doesn't make me look like a fast food worker, but that ties into fucking, some type of legal stuff. Older millennial, we're going to talk about him later. Older millennials making videos, making fun of her for not passing the bar on the first time. But the bar in California is even harder than a lot of states. Like 60-some% of people fell out the first time. So there you go. And he even says in his video, he's like, look, I've talked to a lot of my lawyer friends, and they say, the bar is really tough. A lot of people fell it the first time. But that doesn't change the fact that she failed it, and it's because she couldn't sleep with somebody to pass it. What?
That relates to, and she didn't put on that resume that she worked at McDonald's while she was in high school, which makes sense.
I would like to study and take the bar exam.
That makes a lot of sense because that's not a relevant position to the one she was applying to. But they feel like that's a bombshell when it's absolutely not. And aside from that, in the previous clip before...
Hibbity Bibbity. I like that name.
We're getting on to the McDonald's thing. When he talks about her lying about his record on the military, what he's talking about is the losers and suckers comment, the long record of Trump, sometimes in public, like with John McCain, disparaging service of our veterans. And he's disparaging...
Here's something I'm ashamed of. That I didn't make a bigger deal out of the shit he said about John McCain, right? Like, I ignored it or told people, like, yeah, that's not great. But I made excuses. The same way that his fans still do. Make excuse. He didn't mean that. Well, what he really meant was, we don't need a fucking translator, okay? Nobody needs to come in. When he says something super horrible, I don't need you to come in and say, what he was really doing was he was playing 5D chess to roast the media into thinking that No. He just said what he said, dude. And it's horrible.
Urging a veteran, John Kelly, his longest-serving chief of staff, former 4-star general, whenever he says the whole...
And I do think people forget, like the way he talks about his general, even the most... You guys remember when he picked Mattis? Mad Dog Mattis as his advisor, right? And how fucking pumped the right wing was to bring, like, this guy calls a shot. He doesn't give anybody any slack. He's the bad, he's this, he's that. That guy left with nothing good to fucking say about Trump. In fact, bad shit to say about Trump. Then they're like, he's old and he's jealous and he's this. But before they worshipped him, dude. Is his name Jim Mattis? James. Jim, I think's what he goes by. But yeah, he's a fucking certifiable badass. But I think because those people have ranks so high, and they're often, even though they're not political, right? They're in the military, so they can't be political. They're often brought into politics, so people kind of throw their service out, right? And you'll see this even with Derek Johnson. He'd be like, all these generals are fired for being part of the deep state, blah, 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 blah. But no one ever talks about their service. They've dedicated their whole fucking life to that.
Suckers and losers story is fake because it was that general who overheard him saying these things. Then you have him saying this.
Then you have Kamala's claim that she worked at McDonald's. She never worked at McDonald's. It's a lie. They went in, they investigated it, and the fake news won't report that.
Nobody investigated this. One guy said he talked to McDonald's corporate. And they said, we have no record of her. From fucking 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 35 years ago. And most McDonald's locations are not corporate locations. So they wouldn't have it anyways.
They won't report it. The only one that reported it was Fox, but the fake news one, she never worked at McDonald's. She said she stood over those French fries when they were being fried, and it was so tough work. So she never worked there. She's a liar.
Gosh, she's having a tough time talking coherently. It's so tough work. That's not a sentence, Donald. And I already addressed that, but...
And it was just a summer job, right? She's not bragging like, I worked there for 5 years and got retirement and it was a summer job while she was out of school.
Investigated it, as he said. He did accurately articulate there, though, that Fox News is as credible as that reporting gets. So take that for what you will. He says this.
Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Jesse, all of them, Greg Gutfeld, they all took that and they corrected it many times. But they keep coming with the same lies.
We're going to talk about probably in a different segment today, Hannity, who we referred to, going through Harris's quote-unquote list of lies of the debate, because they're trying to make the point that it had to be unfair if they fact-checked Trump on things but didn't fact-check Harris on her quote-unquote lies. I say quote-unquote because all the things he listed weren't actually lies. They were either things that Harris asserted that were factual statements, or they were a matter of opinion, not fact. Like, they said that whenever Vice President Harris...
This says... Multiple outlets have confirmed that Harris briefly worked at McDonald's restaurant in Alameda during a summer back in California between college semesters in the early 1980s. And she's been talking about her job. I mean, it's documented that she's always had the story that she worked there during the summer again and again and again and again.
Claimed that January 6th was the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. That was a lie. Not understanding that I agree with that statement, but it's also a subjective statement, so you can't fact check that. Versus Trump making factually false statements like he won the 2020 election. This gets at what some MAGA folks don't even understand about the difference between fact and opinion. Not to mention the factual statements that they were trying to fact check, but fail because Harris was being factual. So yes, Trump's going to get fact checked more when he's making more verifiably false statements on the debate stage. Then here he says this.
But what they've done, Gavin Newsom and Kamala, and I want to say Kamala more so, she destroyed San Francisco and she destroyed the state.
A lot of these attacks are coming up hot off that Arlington shit, right? Like he wants to drive attention away from that.
When you look at...
Yeah, this whole aesthetic does not match his dystopian, the sky is falling sort of thing. A funny contrast. All right, we're going to get to when Fox News cuts away, but just want to give you a few more examples of this boring, sad speech.
By his hand, Kamala launched her tenure as DA with a San Francisco police group described as a, quote, fire sale for plea deals. They made plea deals. The only one they don't make a plea deal with is Trump. They go after their political opponents.
Oh, it was Ron Fournier. That guy. I don't know how to say his name, but I recognize it from Twitter. He's also, he's the Students for Trump chairman. also made the claim on X, saying on August 29th, McDonald's corporate sources have come forth and said they have no record of Kamala Harris working at any of their locations. The Facebook post was shared more than 20,000 times. McDonald's has not made any statement about whether Harris worked at a restaurant or not. That's basically it. They haven't said anything at all. There's just people that are posting it. There's no evidence McDonald's has even weighed in on the credibility of Harris' statements. There are no credible news reports about any of the restaurant chain making a statement about Harris, and nothing resembling a statement appears on the chain's social media accounts or website. No one who've made this claim has offered any evidence other than they heard from someone. Someone else made a post that said McDonald's did say she worked there, but she was fired for stealing. These people are crazy, dude.
And they haven't done anything wrong. So more charges.
Yeah, I don't think they would have those records anymore. I woun't think so. Employment records from like 1981.
This were dropped yesterday in Atlanta.
About somebody that worked there for 2 months.
Do you see, Trump, how you're so misled or so dishonest with your own statement? They made plea deals, and the only one they won't make a plea deal with is Trump. That's supposed to bolster his idea that everything's being weaponized against him. You can make a plea deal. The first word, though, that you're saying, you have to plead guilty, probably. So are you ready to plead guilty to these things? Then you can get a deal. I'm sure they would make a deal if you plead guilty.
I think he has some type of mental block. If you see everything, right? He will say something, flat out say it, somebody repeat it back to him and say, no, I didn't say that. What I meant was, he can't, even when he's like, Comrade Howard, look at this. When we're talking about Harris, like he won't even admit that he misspoke. He will never admit he did anything wrong. It's always somebody else. It's always something else, or you misunderstood him, or the media did it to him, or somebody lied about. It's always. I don't know. I honestly think it's some type of block he's got going on. I don't know what it is, but damn.
Guilty. And then this again.
And I thought the debate was great. I thought I did very well, but I was.
Yeah, I've seen the documentary about it. What's it called? The Founder? Is that what it's called?
Fighting 3 people. I was fighting the crazy left radical lunatics at ABC. I think considered the worst broadcaster out there.
That is a great little window into Trump's mind. He goes, I think they consider him, I consider him the worst broadcaster. Yeah, we know.
George Slobodanopoulos, that whole group, they're bad. And I lost a lot of respect for David Muir. He came at me with things, and we'll go over it in a second. But I was right about the crime stats going way up. The fact is, you weren't.
And you're about to make the claim about FBI fraudulently releasing data to make it seem like crime's down when it's not. It's not accurate. On today's bonus show, before I show you Fox cutting away, we're going to go through the different times that the moderators fact-checked Trump. Because Trump keeps saying it was unfair and it was unjust, and I'll go through and prove each of the fact-checks. And then we'll look at Hannity. This might be in a segment publicly. I don't know yet, depending on how many we do today. And all the things he said Harris lied about. And we'll see if she lied about any of them to put this to rest, the claim they keep making that it was also unfair. Then Andrew Rupar says, wow, Fox News cuts away as a very low-energy Trump rants about toilets in San Francisco, and hosts immediately get busy saying washing.
Company that it cost $1.7 million to install a single public toilet in San Francisco. They built a toilet for $1.7 million.
So I'm not saying that $1.7 million is good for to install a toilet, but that's also not what they did, right? So they have to somehow connect it to the. What if you were putting a public toilet in a park, and the closest line to hook up to the sewer was 3,000 yards away, and it's just a grassy field, right? You have to have footers, you have to have plumbing, you have to have piping. You might have to have a pump station. Like if you can't maintain, so. What's the old saying? Hot's on the left and shit won't run uphill or something like that. You have to have slope on the pipe. So you might have to add a pump station. If you can't maintain slope, if it's far away, you have to build the building. Sometimes you have to make it basically bulletproof, especially if like it's in a park or some shit, because people just try to destroy things. So it's going to be concrete. It probably needs to be locked up at night. It probably needs to have a day. It needs to never fucking clog. It needs to never back up. How far was the sewer run? What remote area was this in? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying $1.4 million is good to install a toilet, but there's a lot of factors that go into doing that. Like, I could build you a $100,000 house, but how much? Okay, let's say I build you a $500,000 house, and it's going to look like every other $500,000 house from your area. But now you want it on the north face of Mount Everest. Do you think it's still going to be a $500,000 house? Or let's say you want it in your town, but you want it built completely underground, surrounded by a doomsday bunker. You think it's still going to be $500,000? Like, there's a lot of factors that go into shit like that.
And it's not even nice. I saw
Former President Donald Trump continues to speak there in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, John. He started about 1:26. He's been going for about 34 minutes so far.
They try to make him sound... So Fox News cuts away all the time and tries to make him sound normal.
And really laying out a message to voters about why he thinks Kamala Harris is a bad choice for president.
Yeah, really laying out that case just compellingly. Remember that a big criticism in the 2016 election of media outlets was that they would just give Trump this open platform and carry all of his speeches and not fact check them. A lot of mainstream outlets have stopped doing that. Fox News, you would expect to, because what we used to believe is that covering all of Trump would be to his benefit because you give him all this free media and then you never have the time to properly decipher for people what was
right.
what was fiction.
All media is good media.
But now, even Fox News, that used to cover more of him because it was to his advantage, they believed, even they are cutting him off way more quickly, as I've now covered a few times, whenever he does these speeches, because watching him all bummed out in some of these events, ranting about toilets or the dogs or anything, it's actually not to his political benefit. So they try to then come out of it and say something that sounds far more sane, Aaron Rupar's term being sane washing. And recently, I think it was also Rupar who posted such a great example of...
Yeah, I think where he gets the Kamala Harris or the Biden administration wants to bring back the draft is they're trying to pass a law to where the new National Defense Authorization Act would automatically enroll people that have to be enrolled for the selective service automatically. Because it's like a weird thing you still have to do by paper. And some people don't do it, but if you don't do it, you can't vote. You can never hold a federal job. You know, a bunch of things. You have to do it on your 18th birthday or whatever, around your 18th birthday. 18 to 25 or 26. They're just trying to automate it, which fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do it.
Of this sort of behavior, where the lower third Chiron said Trump addresses the economy in speech, something to that effect. But if you actually listen to what he was saying during that, it was the wildest rantings, and trying to make Trump seem to people like a normal candidate through your synthesizing of his speech and of his rants. It is there.
Yeah, you have to legally do it, but all they're trying to do is make it automatic, right? They know who you are. They know when you turn 18. They're just trying to make it automatic. Legally, you could be punished by like 5 years. I don't know. $100,000 fine. There's like a felony punishment for it if you don't register.
Attempt to serve him, but
I don't know that it's ever enforced, but there is one.
Work. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. Support the show by getting access to the bonus show by clicking.
I think I went to the post office and did it. I mean, it's been a long time ago, but I think I went to the post office and filled out a little like brown card, look like voter registration thing. But it was like fill in the boxes kind of deal and some bubbles and give it back to the postmaster.
Clicking that join button below, and you can click a link in the description of this video to donate to Harris's campaign.
So there you go. Might as well make it fucking automatic. Everybody's doing it anyways. I'm sure there are people that don't do it, but seems kind of silly. Seems kind of dumb. Oh well. Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff. That was interesting. You guys want to talk about... so you guys remember the older millennial? I'll refresh. I know how much you guys love him. He's such a piece of shit, dude. He's such a piece of shit. The older millennial is a huge piece of shit. He's basically wrong for a living. Like, he couldn't be more wrong about this shit that he does. And he never apologizes. He never takes it back down. He's just like Trump, right? I wasn't arrested. I just went to the jail, turned myself in, was rebooked for violation of probation, paid a bond, and got out. If you want to call that arrested, whatever, lefties. Yeah, it's called being arrested, dude. I don't know.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
What the fuck?
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs.
Our generation can't take a single thing serious. You're a 40-some-year-old man. You think this is your generation that's doing the TikTok trends?
They're eating the cat.
It's not even my generation, dude.
Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
So I see so many liberals on TikTok talking about how the ABC moderators didn't fact check Kamala Harris because she didn't lie. And while I have like 30 examples to choose from, and don't worry, I'm going to get to all of them in time.
So it's not that she didn't lie. She didn't use stuff that was more beneficial to her. She didn't say these gigantic, egregious lies that they knew were already going to come up, right? If there's a lie that she was telling repeatedly at every rally about the economy, and they knew 100% that's a lie, he keeps saying it, someone's got to call her out on it, they would have had that fact check. They didn't fact check him in real time. They weren't Googling it, right? It was these lies that he's carried around for years, and everybody knows they're fucking lies. Like, they're doing abortion. He said 7 states allow abortions after the baby's born. Obviously, that's a fucking lie. Kamala Harris doesn't say anything that egregious that they would have a pre-stage, like, fucking fact check for.
The one that stood out as just fucking unbelievably blatant was when Donald Trump said that Kamala Harris supported taxpayer-funded transgender surgery for inmates in prison. And Kamala Harris said that she had never said anything like that, and she certainly had never done anything like that. And while the ABC moderators weren't willing to fact-check her, I sure as fuck am.
Oh, here we go.
Standing in the way of surgery. For prisoners. And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need. And I believe it was not only, I know it was historic in California, but I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country.
Yeah, Kamala, it was so historic that you fucking denied it at the debate. David Muir didn't fact check you, and neither did you.
Wait, isn't it missing the illegal immigrants isn't it missing the legal immigrants part? As president, will you use your executive authority to ensure that transgender non-binary people who rely on the state for medical care, including those in prison and immigration detention, will have access to comprehensive treatment associated with gender transition, including all necessary surgical care? If yes, how will you do so? Harris' response was yes, along with the following explanation. It's important that transgender individuals who rely on the state for care and receives treatment they need, which includes access to treatment associated with gender transition. That's why, as Attorney General, I pushed California Department of Correctional Rehabilitation to provide gender transition surgery to state inmates. I support policies ensuring that federal prisoners and detainees are able to attain medically necessary care for gender transition, including surgical care, while incarcerated or detained. Transition treatment is a medical necessity, and I will direct all federal agencies responsible for providing essential medical care to deliver the transition treatment. In the U.S., approximately 1.3 million adults and 300,000 youths identify as transgender, meaning that their gender identity is different from the sex, male or female, they were assigned at birth. Medically necessary is the word. Such care ranges not necessarily for all transgender individuals that affirm gender or treat gender dysphoria, which is a psychological distress resulting from an incongruence between one's sex assigned at birth and one's gender identity, according to the American Psychiatric Association. Such services may include a bunch of stuff. Isn't the illegal immigrants part missing?
The age of 5. Wonder why.
But I believe actually it may have been one
What did you just say about childhood friend?
country.
Yeah, Kamala, it was so historic that you fucking denied it at the debate. David Muir didn't fact check you, and neither did your childhood friend from the age of 5. Wonder why. So I see so many liberals on TikTok talking about how the ABC moderators didn't fact check Kamala Harris because she...
We're down
down here on Rodeo Drive, and apparently this stairway is like a big deal. Anybody want to tell me why? Because like every influencer in the world is hanging out on these stairs right there. But I don't see the appeal, and neither does she. We're down here on Rodeo Drive, and apparently this stairway is like a big deal. Anybody want to tell me why?
He seems to be tagging his fiance more.
Communist Veterans for Kamala have made it very clear that getting someone's DD-214 and showing those personal details online is not only immoral, but it's illegal, a felony, and I was very likely going to prison for it. Then, as always, we conservatives had to educate them. You had to let them know that, no, it's not illegal. No, it's not a felony. No, it's not a violation of the Information Act. And yes, they can do it too. So rather than make any videos pointing out how...
Wrong. You can't do it. You have to have permission of the veteran. You have to have permission.
They were wrong about everything.
You can get a Freedom of Information Act, which is like a personnel file, but you can't get a DD-214.
This one here decided to go get my DD-214.
No, he didn't. We're going to watch that video. Hold, pause, and let's see what, you remember he used Jolly's DD-214, right? And claimed that Jolly wasn't a combat veteran because he didn't have a cab, which is an absolute lie, right? That's not the requirement. It's just serving in a combat zone, basically. So he does not get his DD-214. He's lying right now. Let's listen.
Also, you were a Korean linguist. You were a HUMINT dude, which I know quite a bit about.
HUMINT is human intelligence.
Because I went to DLI too.
DLI, Defense Language Institute, right? That's where the military teaches you a foreign language. DLI is Defense Language Institute. I don't think I explained that when he went through the first time.
But did you? You know what's fun? There is actually a legal way to verify your claims about what you did in the military. Here, let me show you. Here's what you get back when...
Information releasable under the Freedom of Information Act. And you get this. It's like a personnel file.
You request through the Freedom of Information Act somebody's service record that you don't have any connection with from the National Archives. What was that you said?
A bit about, because I went to DLI too.
No, you didn't, or it'd be right here underneath military...
NCO Academy, SATCOM System Operator, BNOC, Common Core.
Education. I don't see DLI there, so did you tell the Army that you went? Because they don't think you did. Let's jump over to LinkedIn real quick. Because even though the Army doesn't think you went to DLI...
So, real quick, the only way that he could have went to DLI... I haven't watched Older Millennial's video. I don't know what he's going to say. The only way he could have went there and then it not appear on his military education form here, or section, is if he washed out, he failed out.
You did. Let's jump over to LinkedIn real quick. Because even though the Army doesn't think you went to DLI, that doesn't stop you from
BNOC is basic NCO.
Telling the entire fucking internet that you did.
There it is, Defense Language Institute for 2 years, 2003 to 2005. He had a 4.0, and he studied Farsi, Persian Farsi.
Anyway, what's that say there? A Joint Service Commendation?
Joint Service Commendation Medal.
Joint Service Achievement and...
Joint Service Achievement Medal.
And the Global War on Terrorism...
And Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal. Those are 3 awards that he's claiming on his LinkedIn.
Expeditionary Medal? Man, I wish there was a way to verify you had all those. Oh, fun fact, we do. They would all be right here under your awards, but I don't see any of those there. That's weird. What else does your LinkedIn say? Does that say Senior NCO? Did you tell the Army that they needed to update what a...
He's also not a senior NCO. He never received the rank of senior NCO. So you know how he's saying that Tim Walz lied about his rank? He was never a senior NCO. Right? He made staff sergeant, which is not a senior. It's sergeant first class is where senior NCO starts.
senior NCO was? Because you were only an E6 and they don't think that's a senior NCO. I don't know. I'm just asking questions. What's that thing you all say all the time?
Stolen valor.
Can somebody remind me what the definition of stolen valor is again, please? Stolen valor is the act of falsely claiming to be a military service member or a veteran or to have received military awards or medals. The term is used to describe people who lie about their military service or rank or who impersonate someone else. People who commit stolen valor do so to gain money, property, or other benefits by deceiving others. Would saying that you had a joint commendation, a joint achievement medal, a global war on terrorism expeditionary medal, that you were a senior NCO, and that you went to DLI when you actually didn't be a form of deceiving people for monetary gain on LinkedIn? I don't know. I'm just asking questions.
Oh, no. I'm just asking questions. That's what they always say. Hey, I'm just asking. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just asking questions.
When you said this,
let me see my DD-214. You want...
Right. If they would have went through and fact checked every one of Trump's claims in real time, that would have obviously been like something's going on here. Why aren't they fact checking anything? They just fact checked the most egregious ones that they knew were going to be coming up.
Me to provide people who hate me my personal information. Are you?
Maybe you were just scared that the truth would come out. I don't know. Again, I'm just asking questions. But if lying about your military awards for monetary gain isn't enough for you, then...
I didn't wash my hands. If you're upset about that, I don't care.
All right. So you can see the difference between what a DD-214 looks like. See this in the background here? That is a DD-214. It's got like two sections on it, basically at the top, and then a solid section at the bottom. And then this is the document that he received, which is a completely different document, right? It's full blocks, full line, whatever, and it even says information releasable under the Freedom of Information Act. So no one pulled his DD-214. Not this guy. Didn't happen. He's lying already in this video. But we'll watch the rest of it.
They can do it too. So rather than make any videos pointing out how they were wrong about everything, this one here decided to go get my DD-214. Which, again, is fine, because it's fucking legal to do it. Anyway, so this guy...
It's not, and he didn't, right? We just saw there's a difference between what he got and what this guy was spreading all over the internet.
Made a video going over my DD-214. He was like, oh, you claim to have gone to DLI, but it's not on your DD-214. And neither is the...
That wasn't the form we were talking about, and he knows this, right? The most important paperwork you'll ever receive in the military is your DD-214. It says everything you did, everywhere you've been, what services you might qualify for is decided on that. It's got your social and your home, and it's got fucking everything, right? Every school you've ever been to, every awards you've ever been authorized to wear, everything. And you know what I thought about as well? If going to a combat zone doesn't make you a combat veteran, which is what he claims, right? You have to engage in direct combat with the enemy, get a cab or a car. If going to a combat zone doesn't make you a combat veteran, then why does the Army authorize you? You know how sometimes I call Derek Johnson a slick sleeve motherfucker? What that means is on one of your shoulder patches, you wear your unit patch, the unit you're currently assigned to, okay? And that's where it goes. On your other shoulder, you wear a combat patch. If you've been to combat, you are authorized to wear any unit there's several ones that you'll be authorized. Any unit you served with, served under, whatever. Like, so guys will come back from one deployment, and they might be authorized to wear like 3 different combat patches. And when you put that on, what that says is when people see you, that this guy's been to combat. He's been downrange. He's been overseas. He's authorized to wear a combat patch. And you'll see people who don't have a combat patch, they're all, especially in a time of war like Iraq, Afghanistan, they're all fucking new, right? They didn't deploy. They haven't been to combat yet. They call them slick sleeves, right? They don't have a combat patch. So if going to a combat zone doesn't make you a combat veteran, I wonder why the Army authorized you to wear that combat patch for going to a combat zone. Seems like combat patch, combat veteran would go hand in hand, you fucking retard. He knows this. He knows this. This is just an excuse to try to shame Jolly and share his DD-214 personal information and shit. And now he's lying about someone pulling his DD-214, which is not the document he had. And he's seen the video because he knows the claims that are made in the video.
ComSec school I went to in Vilseck, Germany. Like, bro, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Army is not good at keeping records. And then he said, oh, you need to have a Joint Service Achievement Medal and a Joint Service Commendation Medal, but they're not listed on your DD-214. Okay? If you'd like to know, I can tell you where I got the JSAM and the JCOM. I got the JSAM because everybody who participated in the opening of the Kassadek in Jordan got a JSAM. Well, I mean, the officers got JCOMs, but that's the way shit works. But yeah, every enlisted person who took part in the opening of the Kassadek got a JSAM. And just for you guys, because I know you're going to look this up, Kassadek is the King Abdullah Special Operations Training Compound. It was a compound that was opened in the mountains of Jordan for training for a bunch of different tactical forces. The whole idea was that countries could come together for a central location to train together. And it's really fucking cool, by the way. You should check it out. Then as far as my JCOM, I got that for my last deployment in Afghanistan, where we were only supposed to spend 6 months there, but we didn't get relieved by third group, so we ended up doing an entire year. And I, for the final 6 months of that deployment, worked as the ComSec custodian for CJSOTF A. Now, I can't tell you why neither of those are on my DD-214, but here's what I can tell you.
You wouldn't leave without those on your DD-214, right? You would immediately remedy that situation. Especially the commendation medal. The commendation medal is a big deal, right? The achievement medal, that's why he said all the enlisted got the achievement medal, but the officers got the commendation. The commendation medal is a bigger deal. You wouldn't leave without those on your... You would clarify that immediately.
Don't give a fuck. I legitimately do not give a shit what is on my DD-214. There is only one thing that matters to me on that DD-214, and that is that my discharge is honorable, because that is the only actual use of a DD-214.
Wrong. I mean, you use it for a bunch of other things.
That is the only thing it's good for. Like, sure, it shows your schools and your medals and your deployments, but that's for you. That's just for you. Nobody else gives a fuck. Dude.
That's not true, right? That's not true. Especially if you go to an extremely military-friendly employer or a company started by military members. They're going to want to verify the shit that you say, the shit that you have on your resume. They don't fuck around with this. Like, oh, I just pad mine out.
The minute I got back to the real world, I got back into the civilian life.
Sounds like a lot of excuses for why he can't prove he has any of those things.
Didn't give the slightest of fuck if anything was correct on my DD-214. And when it comes to DLI being listed on there, or my ComSec school being listed, or a JSAM or a JCOM, I certainly do not give enough of a fuck to contact and deal with the Army to get it put on there. Like, oh my God, I don't know if you've ever contacted the Army to get something corrected, but it's
now it's just too much of a, oh my God, I don't even know if you've ever done it. It's too much of a hassle
in process. So let me make this very clear to you.
Someone said, wait. So it doesn't matter what's on it and what's not, but you grilled Jolly because his was missing things?
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You are far more interested in my DD-214.
And no one pulled his DD-214.
Than I have ever been, because I served in the Army.
Wait, but you were interested in someone else's, right? When it was political advantageous of you to cover it.
And then I left
politically
on with my real life. And some of you obviously didn't. I mean, I wouldn't know any other way to explain wearing your fucking headgear after you're a civilian. Like, grow the fuck up. You're not a soldier anymore. You got out of the military. Grow the fuck up. So that's the only video I'm going to make about the DD-214.
Imagine that. He's made several about a Jolly's DD-214, but he only wants to make one and be like, I don't care what it says. I really have these things, but it's too much of a hassle to approve it.
Far too much shit to make content about to address this again. So thank you to this guy for proving this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, and this person wrong, because getting somebody's DD-214 is not illegal. It's not.
He knows he's lying to you. This is not a DD-214, and he knows that. Like, every veteran would know that. Everybody who's ever served would be like, that's not a DD-214. He knows that. We're talking about two different documents. And he still lies to his audience because they don't. Most of the time in civilian jobs, when I would put in a resume or whatever, and they found out that I served, they'd be like, well, what kind of discharge did you get? And I would tell them I got an honorable discharge, and they'd never even fucking look. They'd never ask. If I put my DD-214 in there, they didn't know how to fucking read it. They didn't know what it was. That's all true. But you made the big deal about the DD-214. You did. By saying Jolly wasn't a combat veteran, which he is. And you know, I went back and looked at that Stolen Valor account again. The Twitter account that was like, oh, we're exposing this guy for Stolen Valor. I could probably get his, his personnel file if you need it. The same thing that I just showed. The Freedom of Information Act one. And then they went back and forth, and that Stolen Valor account said, well, you're wrong. He is a combat veteran. And he just really ghosted him after that. Never said nothing else about it.
Not a felony, and nobody's going to fucking prison. If you have any further interest in my personal life, please know that I don't fucking care.
It is a felony. It is a felony to request that. To forge the documentation to request that, to say like you are next of kin or sign somebody's name and claim you're them or whatever it might be, it is 100% a felony.
Even liberals are saying that Kamala Harris lost that debate.
That's the one we just saw.
So I'm here to talk to you about Kamala Harris. Hey, could you three shut the fuck up?
No!
All right, fine. So here's what I want to hear is...
Wow.
What you think about Kamala Harris. First to you.
Trump 2024. Go to the fucking border? Me come swallow.
All right, so obviously we have some serious fans of Kamala Harris. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm in LA, so I thought I would encounter a Kamala Harris fan. Instead, I run into people like this that are like fans of Israel. What a weird thing. I just wanted y'all to know that not only do we meet up in live.
This is cringy as fuck, dude.
Sometimes we meet up in person. And I want to say that LA public transportation is really fucking loud. But after you've had a few drinks, you end up with Joelle like this. Like, as you can see, they're handling it really fun. So as we all come together here in LA to tell all you liberal fucks, we just have one message for you. And it is...
Trump 2024!
So I'm here to talk to you...
Wow.
Taylor Swift just endorsed Kamala Harris for president.
I'm sorry, was anybody under the delusion that she supported Trump? Dude, this isn't the win you think it is. Everybody fucking knew who she was.
It's pretty fucking big. It's so big that I'm almost positive that whoever owns indthewokeness.com paid or had their wife or a female cousin or something to pretend to be a Taylor Swift fan and burn their shit in the driveway on a fire pit and then say, that's it. I'm never buying your stuff again. I'm only going to buy all my new stuff from indthewokeness.com. And then like an ad pops up for like indthewokeness.com at the bottom.
Was supporting. Dude, everybody knows she's for sale. Everybody knew who she was going to support. There was no way that Taylor Swift was going to come out and be pro-life. Dude, she's a billionaire. Needs to make sure that young girls will do everything she says, will follow her. Bro, nobody thought she was supporting Trump. Not to mention...
Dude, do you think Taylor Swift is advising young girls to get abortions? Or do you think she has a much more nuanced approach that if the case arises... that they feel like they need an abortion, they at least have access to it? You fucking retard.
Her entire career is built off of choosing the wrong person. Every fucking song she's ever performed has been about how she's shitty at choosing people. So her choosing Kamala Harris is fucking nothing new. Nobody thought she was supporting Trump. Nobody thought she was gonna vote Trump. I mean, even her fucking NFL boyfriend took $2 million from Pfizer to push that shit. Bro, everybody already fucking knew this. This is not massive breaking news. This is fucking duh.
Taylor Swift just endorsed Kamala Harris for president.
I'm sorry.
It's pretty big. Taylor Swift has a huge audience.
Right,
it's pretty big.
Let's talk about the debate. First thing we got to talk about is the greatest own of the night.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now.
Let's be real, that was perfect. Now, I'm not going to play like that wasn't rehearsed, but hey, he still got to do it. And that was the complete domination of the night. Now, let's talk about the actual...
That was it.
ABC should be ashamed because this was a 1v3. Like, if you were actually watching the debate, you would see...
Everything Trump said. I think we did pretty good considering it was 1 versus 3.
Any time that Trump finished talking, they immediately gave Kamala Harris a chance to respond. And then any time Kamala Harris finished talking, Trump had to, like, fight to be able to...
That's not true. So they laid out the format to begin with. They would let someone speak, someone rebuttal, then they went speak, or then they went another rebuttal. And it depended on who they started with the question with, right? The opposite person got to end, you fucking retard. And they laid this out as soon as they started the debate, how they were going to handle this.
Respond to what she said. There was also all the times where Trump said something and the moderators started arguing with him about it. But then Kamala Harris said some shit that was obviously complete total bullshit, and they didn't say a fucking word. You know, it probably doesn't hurt that one of the moderators is one of her oldest and closest friends. So there's that. And for example, when they were talking about Aurora, moderators tried to say that Venezuelan gangs didn't take over an apartment complex. Meanwhile, just earlier today, the owner of that apartment complex sold it to a Venezuelan gang who had previously been extorting his people for money. There was also this topic I'm not diving into. Also, she even tried to make the claim, that old claim that has already been debunked so many fucking times, that Donald Trump said the white supremacists were good people. Sorry, Kamala, but even Snopes says you're full of shit. I mean, she even bombed the first question she was asked. She just didn't answer it. She just talked about other random shit. They made sure to...
Trump didn't answer any question, dude.
On topic over and over and over again. They made sure they hammered those points home for Trump. They made sure they argued with him when they thought he was wrong. Let's be real. This was the debate. This was ABC. Just fucking eating it for Kamala Harris. Oh, and the best part is, I know all the liberals are going to come on TikTok and say Kamala Harris won that debate. They did a poll after that in 92.
Officials in Colorado have agreed to drop all charges against the landlord of the Aurora apartment complex that has been at the center of a supposed violent gang takeover controversy, according to a report aimed by the Denver Gazette. An agreement. Aurora officials agreed to drop all charges against the owner of the Aspen Grove apartment complex in exchange for selling the property, leasing it, or a similar disposition, assuming that the cost to board up and secure the building, the Denver Gazette has learned. Under the agreement negotiated between the city and Nome partners, officials agreed to drop dozens of charges against Zev Bumgardner for failing to maintain the property, according to documents obtained on the Colorado Open Records Act. In exchange, Bumgardner agreed to waive his right to a speedy trial, and Nome Partners LLC agreed to sell or lease the property, and among other things, pay up $60,000 the cost to clean up and secure the complex. So this was an empty complex. This was not the one that people were living in. Notably, the agreement said that the apartment's owners may re-tenant the building, provided that the building is in compliance with city code. So this is a code issue, not a gang issue. Court documents show that Bumgardner was also charged for similar violations for his Edge of Lowry apartments at 1258 Dallas Street. These two complexes, as well as Whispering Pines complex at 1357 Galena Street, have all been affected by gang activity. Based in Brooklyn, CBZ Management operates, but he didn't agree to sell it to a gang. Where did he get that from? They just agreed that they would sell it to new people. He just said they were going to sell it to the gang.
Meanwhile, just earlier
the city wouldn't allow him. Nobody would allow him to sell it to a Venezuelan gang. You fucking retard.
Today, the owner of that apartment complex sold it to a Venezuelan gang who had
and he knows he's fucking lying, right? Like, he knows he's lying. So it seems like what this story was is there was gang activity. There was one building that was completely empty that people were squatting in. There were two others that were like slums. And there was gang activity at these slums. So when cops went to see if they had taken over the building, cops couldn't recreate this, couldn't find anybody saying that the gangs had taken over. But there was gang activity. We've known that, right? His lender, their attorneys come out with a study saying that they said the gang's taking it over. Before that, though, he had all these pending charges for a slumlord. So what I think personally, can I prove this? No. What I think personally happened was between him, his lender, and the holding company, that there was gang activity, and then for some reason this story went crazy and viral, right? He has all these pending slumlord charges against him. I think the whole thing was a way for him to say, look, I'm trying to take care of the building, but gangs took it over. right? I'm trying to take it over. Gangs took it over. That's a you problem, right? I don't bring gangs into my apartments. Gangs took it over. And the ultimate resolution here is that he still gets to sell it for his fucking profit. I'm sure he's going to make a shit ton off of it. He had to pay. They dropped all the fucking charges about him being a slumlord, all the charges against his holding company, all the charges are dropped. He had to pay some money to board up one of the apartments, and now he's able to sell it for a profit, and somebody could come in, renovate it, and open it back up. That's what I personally think. It seems kind of weird that your own lender and your own money management company, when you're saying, if you were saying, no, there's not gangs in it, and the police are saying, no, there's not gangs in it, then your own people would come in and be like, oh, it's run over by gangs. That's the only thing that I can figure why they would do that. But it's because he didn't want to go to fucking prison for being a slumlord, and he damn sure didn't want to pay all the fucking taxes and penalties and all the charges against it.
Previously been extorting his people for money. There was also this topic I'm not diving into. Also, she even tried to make the claim, that old claim that has already been debunked so many fucking times, that Donald Trump said the white...
Wait, which one was we diving into? Okay, eating cats. He's not diving into that one.
Also, she even tried to make the claim, that old claim that has already been debunked so many fucking times, that Donald Trump said the white supremacists were good people. Sorry, Kamala, but even Snopes says you're full of shit. I mean, she even bombed the first question she was asked. She just didn't answer it. She just talked about other random shit. They made sure to keep...
And I don't think anybody's denying that there's any gang activity there. There obviously is, and there is in Denver, and this is one of the newest gangs that's been popping up, the TDA, whatever.
Trump on topic over and over and over again. They made sure they hammered those points home for Trump. They made sure they argued with him when they thought he was wrong. Let's be real. This was the debate. This was ABC.
Okay.
Fucking eating it for Kamala Harris. Oh, and
okay.
The part is, I know all the liberals are going to come on TikTok and say Kamala Harris won that debate. They did a poll after that, and 92% think
this is fake. This is fake. He knows this, right?
Trump won. So look, was
early polls say Harris won immediately. This was as soon as the debate was over. Early polls say Harris won. On Tuesday night, blah, blah, blah. 63 Harris. 63-37, 53-34, 54-31, all Harris. These were from 3 different polling metrics they used. That's a fake fucking screenshot, dude. 100% that's a fake screenshot. It didn't even look right. Oh, here it is. It's from Must Read Alaska, and it says, Kamala the Marxist smirks and sneers her way through the first debate with Trump. Vice President Kamala Harris, the biggest political event of the year, grimaced, squinted, sneered, twitched, pursed her lips, and made faces at Donald Trump during the first debate meetup hosted by ABC, blah, blah, blah. Where do they show this at? Okay, they include the story. So they include the story that her earrings were secret monitoring microphone or speakers, I guess. And then they share this. But an ABC poll done during the debate showed 92% of viewers thought that Trump won the debate, while just 4% Harris won. A CNN poll conducted after the debate showed Trump inching up from 53 to 55%, and Harris inched down from 37 to 35%. That's exactly backwards, by the way. But this poll, you think they did this poll during the debate and we all missed it? You think they did this poll during the debate and we all missed it? They're claiming ABC did this during the poll. Jesus fucking Christ. Sure they did. But an ABC poll done during the debate. And then down at the bottom it says livenowfox.com/connect. ABC did a poll on Fox's website. Yeah, somebody said these are like pretty famous earrings. I don't know jewelry, but they're like a pretty famous like style from some, I don't know, jewelry company.
Was this debate as much of a domination as the one against Biden? No, but Biden was dying. Biden didn't know he was there. So good for Kamala Harris for being better than a dude with dementia. Kamala Harris didn't say a single thing that would inspire anyone to vote for. She didn't change a single fucking mind. She just managed to not get completely destroyed. But I will say once again that I really enjoyed this part.
Big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now.
When she looks him up and down and says, this former president, dude, that was so good. And they have clips of the people laughing like that too.
All right, so let's talk about the debate.
She says, don't lie.
I had spoken to defamation lawyers.
Oh, here we go.
To them about that claim.
This is about the Austin Foreman thing.
They stated unequivocally, if you sue, you win.
Okay, Tommy, let's do this another way. Allegedly, your pregnant wife left you. Allegedly, that pregnant wife fought you for a year so you wouldn't have any custody because she thought you were that bad of a human being. Allegedly, when you were called out for this, you allegedly started stalking a woman and threatening that woman. Allegedly, you're an abuser of women. Allegedly, you're a stalker of women. Allegedly, when you got called out for this, you went and spent a year living with your mother. Now, none of that is defamation. None of that is slander.
And all of that is bullshit. It was just made up by someone who apparently was like, you guys know Jamie that stalks me? Apparently, Tommy has a person like that and just made all this up. The only proof they have is a Twitter post. There's no court documents. But they're trying to say that this is the same as the Austin Foreman story, where there's like newspaper articles, there's police reports, there's a fucking case. They ended up getting dropped because the person wouldn't try to not press charges, drop the charges, basically.
All of that is alleged. The only reason it's allegedly is because you sealed the court documents. What did you have to hide? Why are the court documents for your divorce and custody agreement sealed? Allegedly. The best part is, I can say all.
Well, he's an influencer online. I would try to seal everything I fucking could.
And you can't sue me because I'm simply letting you know what people have alleged. Not saying any of it's true, just pointing out that other people have said it was true. Allegedly. Hey, Tommy, when you got skeletons in your closet, don't try to dig in other people's personal life because we're better at this than you.
Remember I told you?
Oh, okay.
But Bryce, something I just can't understand is why you support Donald Trump when he wants to come after people like your girlfriend. He wants to deport people like your girlfriend, get rid of the industry that she works in, the adult actors industry.
Harry, I'm gonna give you some advice that your daddy should have given you, but you've obviously been online far too long and forgot that the real world exists. But bro, let me
Here we go,
tell you,
dads.
You are barking up the wrong tree in a really bad way. So here's the thing, man. I don't know Bryce Hall personally, but I do know his reputation. I do know his history. This is a person who has no problem fucking people up. Let me just tell you that, man, if you had put my girl's name in your mouth, if you had referred to my girl like that, bro, I would have flown to NYU to fuck you up on site. And I'm not even like a boxer or UFC fighter or mixed martial arts or anything.
Sure you would have.
I just wanted to warn you that you are fucking around with something that you're not prepared for, man. Like, you really aren't. Because I've seen how you're built, bro. I don't care about what fucking karate or jujitsu classes you've been to. I've seen Bryce fight. And while he seems like a perfectly calm dude, I can tell you that very few men are calm when you start talking shit about their girl. And that's what you did. Don't play like you didn't. You wanted to put it out there that his girl was in the adult film industry. That's why you had a fucking smirk when you said it. Let me just tell you,
She's a porn star.
Don't allow other men to talk shit on their girl. But look, I don't know, maybe Bryce will let this slide.
He's a domestic terrier. Yes, he is.
That way. But please, bro, let me point out to you that if he lets this slide, he is a rare person. Because like I said, dude, had you tried to make insinuations about my girl, we would be having this conversation in person. So please, Harry, so we don't see more fucking bandages on that chin, quit barking up this tree.
I would say that your girl is a dumb fucking bitch for sticking around you, dude.
Quit it right fucking now. Because I disagree with you politically.
Come find me.
Feed it on TikTok. But bro, I don't want to see you get your ass whooped. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. If you run your mouth like this about people's girls, I'm going to expect it.
But Bryce,
there you go. He's showing up at everybody's houses.
Short little debate with Charlie Kirk. And Charlie...
This guy's such a fucking tool.
Fucking destroyed him. Parker posted the video anyway, thinking he won. Let's go ahead and take a look at that video.
All right, Parker, what is a woman? A woman is an adult human person that has a desire to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with female sex. To find a man, you're looking at one, XY chromosomes.
See, Parker, you see the difference between the two definitions there? Yours was a word salad created by people who want to cosplay as the other gender. His was simple and scientific. XY chromosomes. See, yours was like people wanting to be this or wanting to adhere to a certain set of standards and all this other bullshit. He was just like XY chromosomes.
Wait, you guys thought the boxer was a man and she didn't have XY chromosomes. So it seems like your own definition doesn't hold up. There's some nuance in it. Remember, that's what you guys were saying a few weeks ago during the Olympics.
Because that's what a man is, Parker. Oh, and don't worry, there's more.
Does God the Father have XY chromosomes? Prior to incarnation, a man is someone with XY chromosomes.
Bro, you're talking about an ethereal being. You're not talking about a human man. You're talking about a god, an omnipotent force. You're literally trying to use omnipotent beings in your discussion about gender. But it's fine because Charlie schools you on this anyway.
Well, he's the father. So if he doesn't have testes or chromosomes, then he can't be the father.
You know what Adonai is? It's the Hebrew word for God. It's actually genderless.
Wrong. You see what Parker popped up on the screen to try to dispute that claim? He put that Hebrew is actually a gendered language. Yeah, Parker, it is. However, Adonai is considered gender neutral because it is seen as a substitute for the name of God. Adonai literally translates to my lords and is reserved for God alone. Because in Judaism, they do not attribute sex to God. And the rest of this talk is just Parker trying to talk really, really fast while making zero fucking sense. How many times do I have to warn you TikTok creators about stepping out of your lane? See, Parker, you spend all of your time debating on your own live, where you have control, where your mods can mute and block and you can talk over. Charlie Kirk argues with people without the protection of any of that, like every day.
Charlie Kirk tries to get as well versed. He's like Crowder, right? He studies, has binders of shit and shit that he knows, like, this is my response to this every fucking time, and I can't get outside of this box. And if it gets outside of this box, I'm bringing it right back in the box so I can say this. And then he goes after college kids. So he can get these awesome owned videos.
He has no mute capability. He lets people pick the topic. And you thought you were going to compete with him. Jesus Christ, you children will do anything for clout. So Parker got to do a short little debate with Charlie Kirk.
Housing prices went up under Donald Trump's presidency every single year, and they went up.
You know, the best part about this clip is that after that person questions him, he pretends that he's going to look up the graph that gave him that information. But don't worry, Harry, you don't have to do that. Average sales price of houses sold for the United States. Would you look at that? Donald Trump's elected president, and sure, housing prices go up a little bit, but housing prices go up like every fucking year. Like with the exception of 08, housing prices consistently rise every single year. And the average housing price under Trump went up a little bit. And then we have Biden's administration.
But that's not what he said. So you're not disproving. He said housing prices went up under Trump. Every year Trump was president. They did. That's a correct statement.
Where we went from an average of 380,000 to 520, with 500,000 being the lowest. So look, Harry, almost every year in our nation's history, the value of homes has gone up. And like I said, with the exception of 08 here, but never in the average of 380,000 to 5.
Hold on. You want to know why he's super zoomed in on that part of the chart? Because it doesn't look nearly that bad if you zoom out some. But let's go into it. What do we want? We want 2016. All right, so this is, why'd that start so late? I want, 2016's at the bottom. I'm an idiot. If we take this chart all the way out to 2016, quarter one of 2016, that's why he zoomed in on. See how fucking gigantic this part looks. It looks even worse, I guess, because he's got it on a mobile device. Let's do this. You get a mobile preview of it. See, it looks even worse like that. But if you look at it as a whole, it doesn't look nearly as bad. Right? It doesn't look nowhere near as bad. But that wasn't what I was wanting to look at. Hold on. Quarter two of 2020 wasn't too bad. But anyways, all he said was housing prices went up every year under Trump. That's a true statement. I hate this guy so much.
20, with 500,000 being the lowest. So look, Harry, almost every year in our nation's history, the value of homes has gone up. And like I said,
yeah, the interest rate drop.
But never in the history of our country have we had a spike like that. Like at no point on this graph since the early 1950s have we seen an insane spike like that. And then it hasn't come back down. Like this is Joe Biden taking office. Houses are an average of 380,000. And within a year and a half, they were at 520 grand. And the lowest they ever got was 500. So Harry, here's the best part.
Did something happen? Did something else happen around that time? Or was it just Joe Biden was elected? Did something happen? I don't remember.
Are technically correct. The housing prices did go up under Trump. They went up under Trump.
Yeah, that's all he said. Housing prices went up under Trump.
Consistent with the way they've gone up every year before he ever took office. But if you're willing to talk shit to Trump about this little uptick, but you're going to defend Biden for this insane fucking uptick.
He wasn't talking to Trump, and he wasn't talking shit about Trump. He said housing prices went up every year under Trump. They did. That's a true statement.
That's what hypocrisy looks like, little buddy. So maybe fix that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the kids did very, 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 very good around Charlie Kirk. We might watch that on the next show.
Women on The View are intentional hypocrites, or they're just so fucking stupid they can't help themselves. Because the other day, Sonny Holston had this to say about Tim Wall's brother not endorsing him for president.
Not only are they estranged, one is coming out against his brother who is running for the second highest office in the land and is saying, I 100% fundamentally, ideologically don't agree with him. That's fine, but as Tim Wall says, mind your own damn business then. If you don't agree with Tim Wall, if you don't agree with your brother, keep it to yourself and keep those family dynamics to yourself.
Do y'all see all the fake emotion she put into that? Because Sonny, if you truly believe that, why was this guy a guest on your show last week? If you're unaware, that's Trump's nephew. Because he doesn't endorse Donald Trump, View brought him on the show and talked to him for more than a half an hour. They wanted to know everything about that family dynamic. They wanted to know why he didn't support him. They wanted to hear any fucked up stories he had to say about his uncle. And they spent 15, 20 minutes of that cheering him, telling him how brave he was for coming out against Trump. But now Sonny wants to get all emotional.
Why don't you show any footage of that?
When it comes to Tim Wall's brother, she thinks that should be kept out of the media. That Tim Wall's brother should just keep that to himself. You can't have it both ways. If you think family dynamics have no place in politics, if you think they have no place in the general
He
media,
didn't show any clips of it. That's weird.
why the fuck was he a guest on your show?
He had a clip of the first part. He didn't have a clip of the second part. I don't trust anything I don't like the people on The View. I don't trust a goddamn word that comes out of this guy's mouth. Everything that I've looked up or that I just know automatically and then went to look up to just verify, he's lied about everything.
Foreman has already responded to Tommy and has already caught him in multiple lies. The first lie being is that Tommy kept trying to call Austin a child abuser. Like he repeatedly kept saying that in his live, kept saying he was a child abuser. But then when somebody spilled the beans that Austin was actually watching the live, Tommy switched it up so fucking quick. See, one of Tommy's buddies brought it up again. Tommy was like, well, I mean, I don't even care. And then somebody pointed out, yo, bro, you've been saying it repeatedly. And he said, no, he brought it up, I don't care. But Austin already has the video, so that was a lie. Now, for the second lie is even more hilarious. So Tommy originally put up a video challenging Austin, and then Tommy claims that because that video didn't get any views, he took it down. And here's where Tommy gets caught in a lie. He said the video only got 158 views after 15 minutes. And he said the reason that happened was because all of Austin's fans were coming over and commenting shit on the video. Y'all understand how those two things aren't possible at the same time? If you put up a video and it only gets 158 views, that means that Austin's fans were not coming over and interacting with it.
Well, it depends on what's being commented, right? It can suppress the views if it's certain comments.
Austin posted a video like 5 minutes ago and it already has more than 158 views. Shit, it's already got more than 158 comments. So Tommy, you have to understand that if you're trying to say the problem is too many of Austin's fans coming over and interacting with the video, you then don't also get to claim that the video only had 158 views. Like, that doesn't make sense. You can't have a shitload of people interacting with your video and low views because they have to view the video to interact with it. They have to view the video to leave a comment. So that was the second lie Tommy got caught in. And I highly recommend that anybody who sees this goes and watches Austin's most recent video. Because not only does he catch Tommy lying once, not only does he catch Tommy lying twice, not only does he catch Tommy completely changing his demeanor once he knew Austin was there, but after he says in that video that he was challenging Austin to a songwriting competition and that he would give Austin much longer to write it because he was going to need it. Austin already
I don't know. I haven't heard this story, Rob. Maybe.
Wrote him half a fucking song. And I'm willing to bet there's more where that came from. So go ahead, Tommy, get to work on that song. And stop fucking lying. Please remember that we can screen record your lives. And there's no edit button.
And that does, that guy, I fucking starting to hate this guy as well. This is the Austin Foreman guy that we talked about the other night that was, had all those charges against him dropped because they wouldn't, the person wouldn't press charges.
Far away, pull down the mask, I'm coming over. So many ops that I wanna spray. You know I make these streets a little bit colder. I just wanna spin your block.
It's something that he's built like a Q-tip. I don't know. Somebody's head.
Hi, Britt. Can I call you Britt?
Hi, Deb. Can I call you Deb? I'm going to call you Deb. Britt there is with John Paul King. John Paul King is like a brother to me, so let's hear what you had to say.
You know what's really gross? Is black men who disparage black women.
Hi, Deb. I'm Austin. I left you a comment and said this isn't going to go the way that you think it is. You're about to find out why.
Especially when he has black children that are girls. And he's so ugly to black women on this app.
Number one, John Paul King calls it how he sees it, and more people need to do that. You, ma'am, have no right, however, bringing his children into a conversation. It is just insane to me that you would stitch his girlfriend's video and say all of this. But don't worry, you keep going.
You know what's even more gross, Brittany? Women, white women.
Is that the guy that calls them the welfare or something? The welfare something. He calls all black people welfare, and he takes videos of them freaking out and talks shit about them.
Who support black men who disparage black women.
You know what's more wild than that, Deb? How many times you brought up somebody's race in this one TikTok? Putting aside all the other things that you've said, the fact that you have chosen to bring up race this many
Trump cut the payments or something to help the child. Damn.
times in one TikTok is wild to me. Ma'am, I really care for John Paul.
Told him to let the kid die.
More than that. You took his girlfriend's video.
Anyways. I don't care for this guy either.
You guys even believe what we've accomplished so far? Just looking at TikTok alone, my mind is blown every single day by the size of this movement. The love that I see you guys showing for each other in the name of AFF family is incredible. You guys aren't waiting on me to do anything.
This is the guy who did the pallets full of ballots song and became famous from that.
You're just going out and doing it yourselves. I just had something really important that I wanted to tell y'all. You know, when I first decided to use my platform to speak up for what I believed was right, and I decided that I was going to speak up for people that just didn't have as big a voice as I did, when I decided to say F it all and just go all in, I 1000% knew that those old news articles were going to come back to haunt me. I knew that anybody that was going to immediately go for that. I knew that people were going to try to damage my reputation using that. And honestly, I had no idea how that was going to go. A part of me thought that speaking out the way that I did, knowing that that was going to get...
He claims that it's just because he supports Trump that these news articles came out, because he made the Pallets Full of Ballots song, so they staged witnesses and a woman and a child in a bar fight, and the waitress saying he kept drinking straight from the liquor bottles because he was so fucking drunk, and she told him to stop multiple times. All of that was all staged because he supports Trump.
Thrown in my face, and may cause me to lose everything. But let me tell you something. I watched President Donald J. Trump get shot in the head. And after that man got shot, he stood back up and he put his fist in, go all in. I 1000% knew that those old news articles were going to come back to haunt me. I knew that anybody that I poked was going to immediately go for that. I knew that people were going to try to damage my reputation using that. And honestly, I had no idea how that was going to go. A part of me thought that speaking out the way that I did, knowing that that was going to get thrown in my face, may cause me to lose everything. But let me tell you something. I watched President Donald J. Trump get shot in the head. And after that man got shot, he stood back up and he put his fist in the air and he told his people to fight. A man that has more to lose than any of us can comprehend. A man that did not have to do what he's doing right now. A man that loves his country and his people so much that not only is he willing to risk his freedom, but he's willing to risk his life. When I sat down and thought about that, I said, man, who the hell do I think I am? How could I pretend like...
Took a bullet for democracy, guys.
Much to lose. So I went all in because, quite frankly, I got tired of seeing people like Tommy and everybody else on the left go on here and say whatever they want and have no accountability. My goal wasn't to get on here and debate them. My goal isn't to prove they're wrong, because they do that themselves. My goal from the get-go is to show them that they're not as good at this as they think they are, and I will always be here to expose them for their lack of talent and their nonsense. And just like I predicted, they brought the worst possible allegations against me that they could, using a news article that up until recently wasn't updated at all to show my innocence. They tried to take that news article and weaponize virtue to discredit me. But AFF Nation, I was not prepared for your response. In a time where everybody could have assumed the worst out of me and turned against me, you stood with me. You chose to see the facts that I put in front of you for what they were. And
of course, they're Trump supporters, dude. What did you think they're going to do? Be like, oh, he was charged with all of this? Yep. Sounds like a pretty shitty guy. So wonders you aren't the vice president nominee.
Austin fucking Foreman, oh my god!
Hey, somebody say my name. Did y'all hear that?
I was done, y'all. I was done.
Shoot, you just thought you was done, girl. You ain't done. As a matter of fact, I got an idea. You want to hear my idea?
Austin fucking Foreman.
Man, just take a breath real quick, okay, so you can hear my idea. Take a breath.
I got breath.
Yes, you can. Deep breaths. I can't tell you the news until I know you can breathe right.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of a big fan.
Ow, damn it. Okay, I'll tell you the news. Me and you are doing a live together tonight at 9 p.m. Central Time. Can you do that? Does that work out for you?
Thank you for reminding me to fight. And thank all of y'all in the comments and the ones that have stuck by me no matter what.
I hate him. He's so fucking cringy. I fucking hate him. Is this the guy?
3 times. What am I, fucking Beetlejuice?
Anytime I repost something you post, it ruins my fucking algorithm.
Well, if by ruin, what you mean is all you see is AFF everywhere. I don't think that ruins it at all, does it?
That being said, yeah, I see all the stuff, all the people talking shit. Tommy dude talking shit about Austin, saying Austin this, Austin.
I think this is the guy. Hold on. Let's see if this is it. I fucking hate his accent. Let's see if this is the videos he does. Hold on. I think this is the guy.
In Springfield, they're eating the dog.
Even if the entire black race.
Know you're a master manipulator and habitual.
Like, when I tell y'all how much I really don't give a fuck about these comments, yes, she's white.
Okay, that's hard because
I want to find one of his videos where he says it. He does the welfare thing.
Does anyone else notice that but me?
A man to be so invested.
Hey, let's see who wants to be famous. So Brittany got
mango peaches and
I think this is him. I think this is him. Hold on.
All right, let's see how the
EBT awards
disappoint me today. My guess is going to be some ignorance that black people will try to justify. And when they try to justify it, I want y'all to know they're wrong. Of course, we have some fatherless children stealing from us.
The EBT awards, and it's about black people that he finds in these fucking crazy videos and talks about how shitty black people are.
Store. What store? A sneaker store. On brand.
oh god.
So what we have here is some young male working his job, willing to risk his
he talks too goddamn slow.
People in his community from committing crime that's going to lead them down a path of destruction. The sad part is he's probably going to get fired from his job for trying to defend his job, because all of these companies allow these people to come in and steal and destroy the property of others without repercussion. Salute to him for knowing right and wrong, but never risk your job for a company that's not going to fight on your behalf.
That's the guy. The EBT awards. And this is how you gentrify your TikTok account. Notice you said boy, and how all the whites are in here agreeing because of it. White people curse cops out and get a ticket. Black men hesitates and it get on the ground, boy.
And this is how this comment's funny. Let's check this.
It's weird how they all congregate together, isn't it?
So I went live.
They definitely all find each other.
Let me ask you this, Democrats. I know you don't have the intelligence to argue this. How many times does Trump have to tell y'all he is not Project 2025? Huh? How many times does he have to tell you? He didn't say Charlottesville. He didn't say about January 6th. There was
kind of weird that he's so strongly associated with Project 2025. That's not him, though, guys. You know that.
Let's go to Chicago to see what the residents think of all the immigrants moving into their communities. You know, the immigrants that they vote elected officials into offices who then bring in to...
All of his audience is white people.
All right, let me clarify, because you couldn't hear me in my other video. Yo, fuck Frontier, right? All right, let's...
Wick Warrior Award of the day.
EBT Award winner of...
Dude, like, basically everybody gets Wick.
My birthday today. Let's see it.
This is the first video I saw of him.
White people, like, don't move out your way, or they feel like you should move out their way, or...
No, I don't.
Like, they bump into you, da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. Is that like baby talk? Gaga-goo-goo?
Turns out that there was a study...
Ain't no way you read a study. Matter of fact, ain't no way you read. Who told you this information? Because there's no way you read any studies in life.
I believe it was at Yale or Stanford. There was a...
You tell... We ain't doing this on my birthday. Yale or Stanford. Stanford? First you're hearing of this place, huh? Come from a long lineage of educators, my guess.
Study that shows that they don't view black people as people. They see us as objects.
It's a bold statement, Cotton. That's a bold statement.
This is his whole content. Denigrating the black community with videos that he can find online
A longer time to process
and calling them EBT awards, Wick Warriors, all that shit.
us in a view.
It's taking me a long time to process where you came up with this cockamamie book.
Which I find crazy because...
The only thing I find crazy is the fact that you loaded up your camera and you made this video.
For a lot of people that say, oh, it's, you know, those times don't matter, that times don't matter, that just shows psychologically how...
Let's not do this. You made this video.
For a lot of people that say, oh, it's, you know, those times don't matter, that times don't matter, that just shows psychologically how...
Let's not do this. It's on the Lord's Day, my birthday. Let's not do this.
The slavery days and segregation days...
The big words will get you every time.
...is still imprinted in y'all DNA.
I don't know about that.
Don't know how to say excuse me. They don't know how to...
Is that a kid?
I mean, she might not be right, but she's trying to make a valid point, and this guy fucking come on here and call it the EBT awards and Wick Warriors and shit like that, and he does this consistently.
Move. They feel
That's his target, and all the white people in his comments cheering him on, and you know they're you know what they're thinking.
Entitled to everybody.
All right, let's start off.
I don't know. Anyways,
I'm gonna address.
They all band together eventually. That is who he was talking about, and that Betty person that made the comment. So that is your. It came from TikTok, dude. That I can't get over the older millennial, fucking outright lying. He knows he's lying. There is not a single person that has ever left the military doesn't know what a DD-214 looks like, and he watched the video and heard the guy's claims. And then he's like, you just proved that I'm not guilty of all this. Thank you. Get the fuck out of here. All right, guys, I'm out. Sorry for the late start. It was homecoming out, and we went there. So thank you guys for joining us. Got some stuff to do this weekend. I fixed the final leak. I put in a clean out. All I've got to do is fill in the holes at work. So hopefully I'll be in here earlier tomorrow, and we'll hang out for a while. And then maybe do some extended stuff with Patreon if you guys want to. If we get started early enough, we'll do a free show, and then we'll do some extended stuff over on Patreon if you guys want to really get into it. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you about in the next one. You have a good night, and love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this dude...
Wandering around TikTok, man. I find the wildest shit.
You don't have the fork and balls to call out the
This clip has resurfaced.
on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage.
Support the show while we're offline if you guys can or think about it, want to. That'd be amazing.
Shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your Huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms.
Have a good night, guys.
Jason Q's bedroom.